And we're back. Will, say something again.
Test one.
All right, I'm sure we'll get a text message here if someone can't hear us.
Yes.
So, we were talking about your team. I was going through, obviously, the history of the team.
Right.
And you took over in 2018. You went 3-10, which was 15th place. And then you turned that around completely opposite to 10-3 for a third place finish. And I know that because he beat me. And you won your first division title. So, in this off season, you've made some pretty remarkable moves to acquire some pretty darn good ball players, but you've sacrificed a lot to do so.
I have. I have. I've realized you got to give value to get value, right? So it's about what your team needs, and it's about kind of the way the league is set up. And I didn't necessarily realize that the first year. The way it's set up, you really got to make some moves and some trades, and some of them have worked out, and others of them not so much.
Right. So I have to ask this question. So are you concerned at all about? Because I remember, hold on. So you have traded away. You don't have a first round next year,
Right.
and I believe you traded away your second and
Second round.
third. So you won't start in to the fourth. I mean, does that how much does that concern you? I know we could probably look at your team, and because you don't pick in the first or second round this year,
Correct.
so we could look at your team essentially and pick the five keepers for next year.
Yes. Yes, you probably can.
How much do you think that's going to affect your future, though?
For me, I look at my team as at least my desire for my team is to have the core in my running back uh, committee, my running backs. So having Saquon Barkley now and Josh Jacobs, I feel really good about. I'm also for as much as I gave the opposite impression at the end of last year, I am kind of high on James Conner getting Big Ben back. So I think I've got two guys that could very well be in the top five
Yep.
and a third that could be in the top 10. So when we're only keeping five, and then I'm going probably a young quarterback in Dak Prescott that better be getting a deal this offseason.
Well, and you acquired obviously Teddy Bridgewater in a deal as well, and that's
I did.
kind of
Yeah.
a good insurance, and you made the smart move also. I think at first we're like, why? Then I'm like, duh, he you just got the backup in case something happened with Prescott.
There's
So
so
you have the
much,
Cowboys quarterback locked up.
and they've got so much offensive firepower
Oh
that
yeah,
I
absolutely.
definitely wanted to be in that. I
Gallup
paid too
and
much for him, but
CeeDee Lamb. Oh, trust me, you're talking to the king of paying for too much. Um, what was the other question I was going to ask you? Oh, and then you also you gave up a third round in 2022, which that one isn't going to be as big a deal,
right,
obviously.
right. You know
Um,
those future years, those future drafts, those are a problem for future Will. We're going to let him worry about those, and who knows? Maybe we'll be able to make some good trades there to kind of spin that back around.
you're definitely in a position. I would have you as if we had an actual power rankings. I put you in my top three for sure. Um, the only thing is, typically your division has been one of the easier divisions to win. However, that can't be said this year.
No,
Definitely, I mean, Mark is definitely going to be a tough play. Guy is a tough play, and Jordan, and that's not something that's been said in the past. Is Jordan is definitely going to be a tough play. So
yeah.
it's not like even though you have this remarkable team, it's not a cakewalk either.
Well, and even winning it last year was back and forth. It was a seesaw, right up until the end, and between three teams really. So I kind of got a little bit lucky coming out on top there, but I expect more of the same again this year.
Yeah. Um, excuse me for 1 second. If you want to keep it right, I'm gonna go grab one of those packets so we can go
Absolutely.
over that. Hold on.
Yeah. While he's off getting the packet, just I guess a reminder, since we're talking about my team and it's all about me, uh, I'm sitting right now on Dak Prescott, Teddy Bridgewater, Andy Dalton, Michael Gallup, Cooper Kupp, Marvin Jones, James Conner, the oft injured on Johnson, Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, and Jared Cook in my tight end spot.
All right, and I'm glad you did that because the reason I actually wanted to run away is I wanted to get so I had all the rosters on me at hand.
Yes.
So what we're gonna do right now is there anything else you want to say before we go into about your team or
No,
anything
let's do it.
experience in the league? All right, so let's roll with. Where she go? So let's look at the potential top picks first. Let's do that.
Okay.
Let's just go.
Okay.
We'll go through the draft packet or the draft guide, and we'll look at each position. So we'll start with quarterback, and then just kind of look at how we think that they're going to fall in the draft. So when you look at this packet, we have 46 quarterbacks listed. Realistically, I could see 2 going in the first round, maybe 3, but I could see 2 definitely going in the first round. And I could see potentially 3 to 4 going in the second. Cam Newton is listed as the top quarterback right now. I'll give you the top 10 right now. So the top 10 listed are Cam Newton, Joe Burrow. Those are the 2 I think will go in the first round.
Agreed.
Obviously, they're different spectrums. Even though Cam is rated number 1, he'll go later than Joe Burrow,
Hmm.
but that's obviously an age
Absolutely.
situation. And then Derek Carr is 3. I could see him going in the second. The only thing with him is concerning is, and I'll jump ahead to number 10 right now. Number 10 is listed as Marcus Mariota, and that could become an issue if Carr doesn't perform. You could see, what happened to Mariota last year in Tennessee with Tannehill could happen to Derek Carr in
And
Las
then
Vegas.
Tannehill came in and lit it up, and Mariota's changing cities.
Yeah, and he might be someone that Gruden likes.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Next up, we have Mitchell Trubisky, which he's another one that he's kind of in a weird situation. He's listed as the starter right now, but he's
Yep.
got Nick Foles hot in his tail. Fitzpatrick is the starter in Miami right now, but how
Right.
long that is
Right.
happens, I'm not sure. I just got a message that they can hear you.
Good. Good.
Um, we have at 6 Tyrod Taylor. He is right now listed as a starter for the Chargers. That could change. And then Jarrett Steedham, who was the rookie last year for New England, at 7. Um, but they haven't actually fully given who the starter in New England is.
They're
It's
not.
expecting it to be Cam, but with Belichick, you never know.
Well, and that's just it. There's even been whispers, rumors of using two quarterback system. Uh, those there doesn't seem to be much reliability behind that,
No,
and you just don't see it at
right.
that level. But there's a
Anymore.
lot of
It did. There was a time that actually did happen, but you're right. It creates a lot of problems for camaraderie.
timing, consistency.
Yep.
Yeah.
If one gets hot, pull him just to put the other guy because you have a. And then we have 8. We have Jacoby Brissett. He's at 8, obviously because he's the backup to Philip Rivers, who is, I think he'll be fine. I think the reason he's that high is just because of an age thing with Rivers.
Right.
Rivers is playing by, in my opinion, the best offensive line in football right now,
Right.
so he'll be safe. And they want to run the ball.
They do.
Um,
Yeah, that hurts your quarterback though. If you've got Rivers or if it's Brissett that comes in,
yeah.
just not as many pass attempts.
And then Mason Rudolph is at 9. Similar situation, playing behind now healthy Ben Roethlisberger, but how long?
For how long?
For how
Yeah,
long?
38 coming back from a pretty devastating injury. That
And plus, Miles Garrett is cleared to play.
mm.
So when they play, is a helmet going to come off and hit Roethlisberger like it did? Sorry, that was a little joke. Sorry, Steeler fans, had to throw that one out there. And then I have at 11 and 12 we got Tua. I know I'm going to screw the name up. He's my
when yeah,
Yep,
Tua. Everybody
Tua.
knows who that is.
Yep, and Justin Herbert at 12, the 2 top rookies that were drafted this year. They have their place. Now, from what I'm understanding, Tua will play first
I
before
agree.
Herbert.
I agree.
Um,
Miami's got a rough schedule to start the season. They start out with the Pats, and I don't
you know what?
remember
This might
after
be the
that.
first time I actually don't mind that. They're not the juggernaut, the scary thing that they were.
Exactly, exactly. But we kind of know Ryan Fitzpatrick's history. He's up and down, and he gets pulled, and then he gets put back in. But I can see him getting off to a rough start. Now, he torched the Pats last year. Uh, you know, just had an amazing game, and maybe that happens again. But if he gets off to a rough start, you could see Tua pretty early.
Yeah. Well, and obviously everyone knows I'm a lifelong Dolphin fan. Um, I'm expecting improvement. I'm not expecting him to win the division by by any stretch of the
No,
imagination.
no.
I'm hoping for second place. I'm not expecting a playoff run, anything like that. I want to see improvement. They have young players that they brought in, but
They
they
do.
still need to add more. They need to, if they can get a big free agent next year, it could make a huge push for them. But my opinion, Buffalo is a team to beat in that division right now.
They are, no doubt, with their defense and Josh Allen, what he can do with his legs, and the guy's got an absolute cannon for an arm. So yeah, they look like the favorites.
Um, Other quarterbacks that we have on here, obviously, I'm just gonna go over the rookies. Jordan Love,
Yep.
and he's not someone that, unless they were to actually do the rumored trading of Aaron Rodgers, which I don't believe will happen. I think it's just a lot of smoke. But he's a future. But you draft him, only 5 keepers next year. If we was 10 keepers next year, I think he would go high.
Agreed.
Jalen Hurts, I'm hearing good things about, but again, he's in a backup role behind someone as long as they stay. Well, see how long that one stays healthy, right?
It's yeah, anybody's
Carson
guess.
Wentz. And then going down a little bit farther, we got what are the top rookies? I got Jake Fromm and Jake Eason. They're kind of like third stringers at this point. I was high on Jake Fromm actually coming into the NFL draft.
Mhm.
I liked him at Georgia. I thought he was a good quarterback, but he's more of a game manager than anything.
That has its place. Alex Smith has made a career out of it.
And I had to put this on there for all you Michigan fans. Um, I threw on Shea Patterson at 46. Um, you
Back
know,
up in Kansas City.
there you go. Have fun, buddy.
Speaking of, I mean, you've got your guy, right, that you took last year
Dwayne
from that school
Haskins,
down south, and I just brought up Alex Smith, who's back from his injury, right? Has had a pretty successful career.
mentoring the kid.
When he's been able, you think that's what's going to happen?
I've actually heard that Alex Smith won't even be on the roster come day one.
Wow,
He'll be on someone else's roster.
maybe. Okay.
Um, they traded for Kyle Allen in the offseason. Washington did.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that's who they really want to be the backup. They look at Alex Smith as if he can be there and mentor Haskins,
Mhm.
but I mean he hasn't played in 2 years,
Yeah,
and he literally just got fully cleared to do any kind of football activity. I mean, how does he make a legit push? You can't stroll a guy out that's had this 17 surgeries in the last 2 years on one leg. How do you march that out?
yeah. And this late in his career, it's kind of amazing that he's back at all.
Well,
To be
definitely,
fair,
definitely. I
so
mean, I'll throw this. If he was on, for example, like we just talked earlier, the Colts,
yeah,
he doesn't have. I mean, the offensive line isn't solid in Washington by any stretch of the means. It's
right.
not the worst, but it's not obviously it's middle level offensive line. I mean, they let one of the best tackles in the game go to San Francisco,
Hmm.
Trent Williams. So he's not mobile. Obviously, he's not the Alex Smith that everyone remembers.
Right.
And I could be wrong. I'm not at home filming the guy, but I just hear 17 surgeries in 2 years, and that screams I'm kind of a statue.
Oh, well, and you're right. That line is definitely a concern. So a mobile quarterback is going to be a must there. So yeah, but looking through this list of quarterbacks, and kind of who's picking where and what the needs are, I agree with you. You got a couple in the first round. The tough thing here is that there's only a few starters on this list that you expect will start the entire season, right? You've got some guys that will start at the beginning of the season. We just talked about Ryan
Yeah,
Fitzpatrick, right?
I
He'll get
think
replaced by Tua at some point.
there's one. I can call one guy on this entire sheet that will start 16 games unless he gets hurt, and that's Joe
Joe
Burrow.
Burrow. Yeah.
If he's healthy, I would say Cam will be all 16 unless he's that horrible.
No, I agree with you. And
But all the
Stidham's good.
rest are. Um, Trubisky's is the only one that's got something to play for. I mean, he's got it. I mean, obviously, Fitzpatrick knows the situation he's in.
Yes.
Tyrod Taylor knows the situation he's in.
Yep.
He's there. It's a gap bridge.
Yes.
But Trubisky actually is playing for a job. If it's in Chicago
There or
this
somewhere
year or
else.
next year, or if it's somewhere else,
Yep.
he actually has something legit to play for, as not just to be a backup in the league.
Yeah.
And obviously, Chicago wants him to do well because they spent a lot to get him a couple years ago, and it it's better for them if he plays well and they keep him, then we got
Absolutely.
to start all over again and
Absolutely.
draft a quarterback.
And he's got talent around him, so
Yeah. Oh,
he's set
it's
up.
definitely he's got. Well, the offensive line there is also and obviously I drafted David Montgomery first last year,
Yes,
and
thank you for that, by the way, because that allowed me to get Josh Jacobs at the number 2 spot. So
well, originally you were going to have your choice because I was legit taking Haskins number one, and then I watched a preseason game. Literally, it was that Thursday before our draft. I'm like, I can get him later.
yes, yes.
So now it's which running back. And at the time, I heard better things about Montgomery. I
Oh,
heard the Bears loved him.
there was a lot of hype.
Yep. But the issue there was offensive line.
Yep.
It really, really was. And it's still, they haven't improved it enough yet. I think he will be a good running back in the league.
Yep.
For what he did last year with what he had around him to help give him holes and everything to run with, I think he's going to be a solid running back. It just,
Yeah, and you get to play. The division's got some weak defenses in
yeah,
Detroit
Minnesota's defense got weaker.
and I mean
Detroit's got weaker.
Green Bay's was solid last year, but that was more at the front of the year and kind of out of character for him. So he'll definitely have opportunity.
So now we'll move on to the hottest position in this year's draft, running back. And this one is just this may be the strongest running back draft class that we've ever had. I mean, in my opinion.
I can see that.
And of course, again, that is all based off. It's a strong. This is the best rookie running back class we've ever had, and that's where the strength is. So obviously, like you said earlier, you're acquiring Saquon Barkley, and you're getting a player that you know is going to be 1,000+ running back. He's
Right,
solid. He's strong to go right now.
right.
These guys, it's all on
You don't know.
their prospects.
Yeah, I mean, you could come in here with the first pick. You got Clyde Edwards-Helaire,
Hmm.
you listed number one, as I
Hmm.
think everybody does, especially since Damian Williams opted out
Yep.
in Kansas City. But I mean, you could come in and he could turn into a Beanie Wells, right?
Hmm.
And maybe just not return that value.
Well,
So
Beanie Wells though initially did.
yeah, was that a bad comp?
No, I know I don't say that because who knows that could let's say Clyde Edwards-Helaire does have like a phenomenal rookie year,
Hmm.
but then drops off after that, or
Right, right, right.
and
Yeah.
here's the biggest concern which we haven't addressed yet. I want to get this off real quick because there's no preseason. Early
Yes,
in the year, there's a very high likelihood of injuries.
there is, and you're seeing that already in the camps.
Right.
You're seeing it more in the wide receivers, right? Tyreek Hill, hamstring,
Hmm. A
uh,
lot of hamstrings
a
across the
lot of
board.
hamstrings. So these guys that make their living with speed, Tyreek Hill is one, right? Will Fuller has had a history of hamstring injuries.
Hmm.
He's not right now, but of course I'm blanking on it. But I've heard 4, 5, 6 high-profile receivers in
Yep.
the past
Some
few
of the
days.
rookies too. And what people got to keep in mind is they didn't have their typical workout because obviously camp
Right.
starts in mid end of July, but there's a mini camp that takes place in June, which kind of sets everything
Hmm.
up. So these
Hmm.
guys weren't really allowed to work out other than in their home,
Yep. Yep.
and there's a big difference between running on a treadmill or an elliptical machine and running full speed on a field, even
And
with
trying
no contact.
and trying to cut and
Right.
and make moves and kind of snowballing off that. That makes me a little hesitant about some of the rookies
Mhm.
early in the season, right? You're going to expect that maybe the teams want to have the consistency, get off to a fast start, hold your rookies back a little bit more. Maybe you don't see as much playing time for someone like, say, Jonathan Taylor in Indianapolis, right?
Right.
Let's have Marlon Mack, the veteran, be there who had a really solid
Oh,
season last year.
he's had a couple of solid seasons.
So in those types of situations, it's going to be all that more important for the teams to keep as much consistency as they can.
And I can tell you, Efren's hoping
I'm
that
sure
streak
he is.
continued because he has Marlon Mack. But on this list, like I said, it's a strong list. However, there's only one bona fide starter out the gate, and that's Hilaire.
It is.
And that's like you said because Damian Williams opted out, so it's Hilaire all the way. But then we have Hilaire first. Second, we have Jonathan Taylor from Indianapolis. We have Cam Akers 3 with the Rams. J.K. Dobbins 4 with Baltimore. DeAndre Swift at 5 with Detroit. This one puzzles me. Now, this, just so everyone knows, I don't actually, these aren't how I feel that they rank. These are actually based off Yahoo's full season projection, what their
Yep.
fully
Yep.
season or get the whole year.
I
Um,
agree with you because I would not have the number
Boston
6 this
Scott
year.
is ranked sixth. I would not have put Boston Scott sixth.
No.
Now, Duke Johnson at seven actually isn't out of the realm of a possibility because he's a third down back, so he's going to get catches.
Yep.
So he's going to get you production there, and he's behind who?
David Johnson now.
Yeah, so there's another guy that, like, we were talking injuries. There's someone
Sadly.
that's completely injury prone. So having Duke Johnson at seven, and they don't have really a rookie in there to push anything. So it's not. It's actually a fair position, I think, for him.
It is, and I think Houston's one team that's going to be really interesting to watch this year.
They're boom or bust.
You got to see if it's the old addition by subtraction, right? Since they shipped out Nuke Hopkins to Arizona, he's high profile receiver. You wonder if they're going to be able to put it together
Yeah.
without that big play guy.
But Cooks is good.
Cooks is good, and Will Fuller is really good
Yeah,
when
when
he
he's
can stay on
healthy,
the field, and he's put on a bunch of weight in the off season and
that could
changed
be a
his
good
training
thing.
regimen. So,
That could be a good thing though too.
yep,
Now here's another one that I don't necessarily agree with, just because of
yep,
they have Tony Pollard ranked eighth. I don't know if they're expecting Elliott to get hurt, but
no,
Elliott's production is high. I looked at a lot of these guys. Almost this entire list is overproduction. But understand they don't have a preseason to go based off, so they're
exactly.
just everything is an assumption. So I think for this year, Yahoo, and I haven't read this. I just came up with this now. I think they're over guessing everyone's stats.
And this is the position that by far
It's
I
the
expect
gold.
these guys to be flying
Yep.
off the shelves in the draft.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
Easily, if I'm looking at who's drafting and where and when, the first round, at least half of those
Oh,
picks will be running
there's a
backs.
premium on running back, definitely. It is the gold in our league. Like
Yes.
quarterback is where you get the most points,
Hmm.
but running back is the gold value. That's what everyone wants.
Yes.
Next at nine, we have Carlos Hyde. Now Hyde is in a situation where he could actually see a lot of production. Um, Rashad Penny is going to miss part of the year because he's on the pup list,
Yep.
and he's actually I think he's higher. They have him at 12. Rashad Penny. We'll get to that in a second. But obviously, Chris Carson is a starter in Seattle. He's coming off a major leg injury.
He is.
So Carlos Hyde will have an opportunity to definitely get carries. He will see field in 2020 for
Yes.
sure.
And he's been productive in the past.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had him for a while, and you know,
Yeah, he's not a top tier, but
anymore.
he'll be
It's from
solid.
the Ohio State University. Just a reminder there.
At school down south. Yes.
Um, that's better than that team up north. Number 10, we got rookie Zach Moss out of Buffalo, and he's in a unique position because I think he'll see carries. Um,
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah, and so you've got Devin Singletary there, right? And he had and I'm gonna blank who was behind him last year, Frank Gore.
yeah,
Yeah, so Frank Gore, who is like my age, and somehow still being semi-productive,
I didn't
but
know you were
some
65.
yeah, I'm pretty close. I'm looking good though, aren't I? For that, the somebody's got to fill that role,
Yeah.
and they don't seem to have much depth at that position.
And just wait a minute. By the way, Frank Gore still falls in at 43 on this list.
But poor Frank Gore. On one hand, you got to respect Frank Gore.
He's a Hall of Famer.
He
I'm
is,
gonna say this right now. He is a first ballot NFL Hall of Famer.
but now he's got to play for Adam Gase and the coach for the Jets. So he's behind Lev Bell, right? And that's just historically they make terrible decisions. Uh, he does. Adam Gase does.
We also realize that Frank Gore is one team away from playing for the entire AFC East.
I did not know that.
He's played for Miami, he's played for Buffalo, and now he's with the Jets. So next year he's a Patriot.
I, yeah, I don't know. Miami could
Actually, you
probably
know
use him
what?
again.
I bet what do you call it would love him. Probably Belichick would love him.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I think Zach Moss actually was in the top three rushing in college last year, I believe.
Mm.
But the problem is he played for Utah.
To say a
See,
small
that's why you look
school.
at this list. Okay,
Yep.
Hilaire, SEC. That's playing top rate defenses.
Exactly.
Jonathan Taylor,
Wisconsin.
Big Ten, playing Cam
Real solid
Akers. Cam
defenses.
Akers isn't necessarily like a hard nosed runner. He's gonna be kind of he can catch passes out of the backfield. He's more of a quicker back, kind of work done.
Oh,
think Warwick Dunn would be maybe a good comparison.
there's a blast from the past.
J.K. Dobbins, obviously out of the Big Ten,
Let's get your take on that though. J.K. Dobbins, right, goes to Baltimore.
could be
So
the number one overall pick. We'll
he's
get to
being
that later.
he's he's going to be behind Mark Ingram.
For now.
Mark Mark Ingram had 15 touchdowns last year.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, you're going to bring a rookie in because a lot of the value there is in the goal line work.
Hmm.
So you're going to bring a rookie in and supplant that is call it what it is. Mark Ingram's a stud.
Yeah,
So
but he's
do
also
they
had
split
injury
time?
problems too.
Do they split time? If so, what is it?
See,
Uh,
I've heard that whole situation though, and then they still talk. Well, we got Gus Edwards, and he's still going to get
yeah,
carries.
yeah,
Um,
right. And there's someone else in there too that I'm
oh,
blanking
geez,
on.
yeah, and he's on
Yeah,
my yeah. Who was the other?
I know two.
They just signed him. Oh, Justice Hill. They didn't just
Hill.
sign him. Justice
That's
Hill
right.
was the
Yeah.
other one, and he was a rookie last year. And he had some playing time and did okay when he was in there, but it's going to be Ingram and Dobbins, and
Oh, agreed.
they are similar actual style players.
Yep. Yep.
Dobbins younger,
Yep.
Dobbins is faster at this point, less injury, a little bit better receiver out of the backfield. So, and I've read a lot of things that he's making a push to be the starter.
Well,
He wants it. I mean, he wants it bad,
he
and
better.
you know, at the end of the day, I think you want a Buckeye back instead of a Alabama running back.
I'd say 15 touchdowns in a season
Yeah, maybe.
might disagree with you.
Um,
There's a couple interesting ones on here that I wanted to bring up though and
okay.
kind of get a take. So you drop down a little bit. We get down to 17. Adrian Peterson, right? The old man in Washington. We know that Darius Geis just got let go. So Adrian Peterson was the man last year, more or less. He was their main running back, and wondering that makes me wonder even before Geis got let go because Geis can't stay on the field anyway. That he might have some value this year.
Oh, I could see him late first, early second for sure. He's actually made the statement he's going to play to his 39.
Okay.
He wants Emmett's record,
Oh, oh,
and they said he's just got to do. I think it was 1100 and change. If he did that every year for 4 years, he could do it.
that's doable. And then you got Jarek McKinnon down at 20, right? So being in San Francisco, so of course you're behind Mostert, but
And Coleman, that's a committee.
and Coleman, it is a straight committee, but it's also a run first team, right? So there's plenty of work. Mostert, probably going to be a stud this year.
Hmm.
Uh, and if he can get some significant playing time, then in a team that runs first, then I see some value there too potentially.
And then, well, Latavius Murray at 11.
Yep, yep.
I think he's still the feature in New Orleans, even though they have Kamara. Kamara's a third down back.
Mm, mm.
I mean, I don't
I don't
know.
know. Latavius Murray has got some goal line work. I think Kamara's going to bounce back.
That's a commit. It's a committee. I mean, really, in the end, it's
It,
not like I shouldn't say feature. He's not really a feature back, but he gets quite. He might get the first down carries, and then you might flip flop. You're right.
well, they
It's
use Kamara a lot in the passing game,
yep,
but there's a lot of mouths to feed there, right? They brought Emmanuel Sanders in now. You already got Michael Thomas.
yep.
So, but we also know what does Drew Brees do? He throws the ball all over the yard. So he's going to sustain some people. And uh,
Murray's
Kamara did
job is to soften him up.
Kamara didn't get too many touchdowns last year, so I think he'll see some positive regression there.
Now they got Penny at 12. Like I said, I think that's too high
Agreed.
because he's going to miss at least. I think the pup list is 6 to 8 games somewhere in there,
Yeah.
and that's if he comes back from there because the pup list is twice. And then we got now let's talk about all the rest of the rookies. So we got AJ Dillon at 13. Obviously, all these guys that we're about to talk about are backups, but AJ Dillon is a completely change of pace from
Yeah,
Aaron
Green Bay.
Jones.
Yes. Who has got to come back to earth. What do you have? 19 touchdowns last year.
But
That's
like 9 of them were like in 2 games. I
well.
think he
That's
had a
just it.
touchdown game and a 5 touchdown game, maybe.
It's impossible to. I don't know if he had what the breakup was. I'm just saying all year he had more touchdowns than I ever remember a running back getting.
Yeah,
Like I said, even Mark Ingram had 15. Aaron Jones had more than that.
yeah.
So now I'm counting,
And
rushing
he's a
and
1,000 yard
receiving.
rusher,
He has
Aaron Jones. But see, we were just talking about goal line work. I mean, AJ Dillon's a big boy.
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, he could get those.
If he gets a goal line work, that there's a lot of value there.
Now here's one that, and I don't know a lot about this kid, is the Lynn Bowden at Las Vegas. He's a rookie. Um, right at 14, when you have Josh Jacobs, I don't understand why they put him so high. Like they think he's gonna get that much production.
Yeah.
15, you got Lamichael Pirine, the rookie with the Jets. Again, sitting behind
Lev Bell
Le'Veon Bell, and you got Frank Gore
and
there.
Frank Gore.
And we got John Kelly at the Chargers. That one is more realistic that he could see playing time with Eckler. But
Right.
then also they have Justin
Justin
Jackson
Jackson right there too.
listed at 21, who, from what I've heard, actually Justin Jackson in camp is actually they like him more than Kelly.
He's been looking good. I've been hearing those reports too.
We got Naeem Hines at 18. Like I said, we got Mack there and Jonathan Taylor. So I'm looking at he's probably more. They're looking at him as a third down running back probably. A lot of his points might come from catches.
Yeah.
And here's another crowded backfield is Denver.
Agreed.
You got obviously Melvin Gordon came. Well, you had Philip Lindsay to begin with,
Right.
and Freeman was there, and they literally almost got a complete split last year.
Which is amazing given that Royce Freeman I think was like a third round pick,
Yeah.
and Philip Lindsay was an undrafted free agent,
Hmm.
and he came in and just basically
Well,
won
Freeman
the
was
job.
hurt Lindsay's rookie year. That's why Lindsay got the opportunity. But then last year they're
But
both healthy and they literally split
he
them. But now
capitalized
you
on it.
add Melvin Gordon, who's better than both of them.
Bigger than Lindsay by a
You know
significant
what?
amount.
I just thought of this right now. Could one of them get traded? And it wouldn't be Gordon, but could one of the other two?
Oh, I'm surprised that Royce Freeman hasn't been traded or cut yet. To be fair,
But would Lindsay have more
you need
value?
depth.
Could you get more for Lindsay than you could get Freeman? Freeman, I think you would cut. I think
Agreed.
Lindsay you could trade.
Agreed. Yeah.
And then another rookie, Anthony McFarland, in Pittsburgh. Obviously, like you're hoping he doesn't see the field, but we got
Exactly.
James Conner, and then Benny Snell
Yeah.
is right behind that. And Benny Snell actually played well. I had him. I had him last year. He actually played well in some spot duty
So
when Conner went
somebody,
down.
I think somebody kept him in our league. I don't know where he
I
ended up.
traded him,
You
and then he
traded
got
him to
kept. I
somebody.
traded him to Rich, and Rich kept him.
Okay. Okay. So
But
Rich is hoping that James Conner is a bit of a China doll because he seemed to be last season. But
he has gotten hurt every year, though.
well,
I mean, he has.
he's a stud when he's on the field. So
Another rookie that a lot of people are high on, I'm not so much because I don't see him as a complete running back, and that's Antonio Gibson with
right.
Washington. Um, I've heard they're going to do a lot of cute stuff with him.
Okay.
Like, because he actually, I mean, when I mean cute, we're talking like Cordell Stewart type stuff here,
Yeah.
where they'll put him at receiver. He
Yeah.
actually
Taysom
can
Hill
play.
kind of.
He actually, I guess, played quarterback at one point in college.
Okay.
At Memphis. DJ Dallas, the rookie out of Seattle. Don't know a lot about this kid,
No.
but again, he's in a complete crowded backfield, but they're all old and banged up, so
Right.
he might get a shot. Um, I'm hearing good things about Damian Harris in New England.
Okay.
They got him rated at 27. Of course, there you got Sony Michel, who's hurt
Yep.
right now,
Yep.
and they still have James White, of course.
And Rex Burkhead.
Yep, the fullback.
Yep. Yep.
But he's not going to be someone that's going to get a lot of production
Not
necessarily.
consistently. He'll vulture
He's
a touchdown
consistent, you're
once
right,
in a while.
and he can catch too.
Yep.
And then we got our next rookie at 28, and I think this kid's going to get playing time, is Anoy Benjamin from Arizona. Obviously, Drake is the feature back there. That being said,
And you
Drake
got
has
Chase
had
Edmonds.
his.
Chase Edmonds behind.
Oh,
him
that's
as well.
right. That's right.
But Drake, ooh, what a season last year! Holy cow! Once he got to Arizona, so on 3 days, 4 days after
Well, I
he
still
got
got the Miami Miracle I can hold on to. They beat the Patriots on that one.
So how about number 40, Lamar Miller? Wasn't Lamar Miller the guy that tore his ACL on TV at our draft last year?
Yes, Guy. Well, shout out to you. Literally, he got drafted in the 11th pick overall, and in our draft last year, and the Houston game was playing. Were they playing the Colts?
I don't remember.
I don't remember who they're playing. It wouldn't have been the Colts because they don't do in divisions. The Colts were the second game because I'll cover that in a second. But so Lamar Miller gets drafted, and within 5 minutes,
Yes, it was quick.
it was injury. And
Yep.
it's like, I'm sorry, guy. That was. He's like, what do you do? Where it's can't
Just
take it
bad luck.
back. It's just like this is the way it is. And the reason I say I can't take it back, and I mentioned the Colts, I said I'd come back to that because literally after our draft finished, Andrew Luck announced his retirement,
Yes.
and it's like Jordan's like, okay,
Yeah.
I can't pick now. I gotta wait to pick up who is ever out there. I think he traded with you to get Tom Brady, didn't he?
He did. Yeah. And that's kind of funny actually. Now that I think about it, last year, because you talk about those things that happened before the season even started, and then how many high-profile players got hurt in the first 2 or 3 weeks, right? They were going down like flies. It seemed like with Nick Foles and Ben Roethlisberger, and I know I just had a couple more names in my head, but expect more of the same this year.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. I'm gonna go down to number 42.
All right.
If he had been kept, Dion Lewis, after you would have gotten the acquisition of Barkley, would you have traded for Dion Lewis?
If he would have been,
If he would have been kept, so someone kept him,
uh-huh.
would you have considered trading for him so you had
Oh, so I had the
in
backup
case something happened
for
to Barkley?
Barkley? No,
No.
no. I have not been impressed by Dion Lewis's history, and Tennessee pretty much just kept him on the bench all last year. Uh,
Well, I mean,
Derrick Henry was a stud,
he
no
got
doubt.
1,500-yard running back. Yeah, it's kind of
Yeah, yeah. I don't think he's,
he was maybe. I guess maybe you look at him. He was um, lucky to be in New England. That's where obviously all his success
yes,
was. And
yes.
45 rookie Keyshawn Vaughn.
In
He's
Tampa
in the
Bay.
mix. He actually dropped at one point. He was in the top 10, Keyshawn Vaughn.
Wow.
But I've heard a lot of good things about Ronald Jones.
Yeah, yeah. Tampa Bay's one that is a really murky backfield. I don't want anything to do with it.
The only running back I think that I just want to throw this out there, people to keep in mind, and he's not playing this year, but that's number 81, Damian Williams. He obviously opted out for this year, won't play, but that's someone that someone will draft
Hmm.
as a potential because he'll be back next year.
Right.
And
And then they can trade him like you did with Gronk and get
right,
something in return.
or that's even worth that, depending where he ends up, because I think he's an actual free agent.
Right.
Yeah, the Gronk. You know what's funny about the Gronk? So I drafted thinking I really thought he was gonna be back during the season
Oh, there
last
was a
year,
lot of hype about it.
and I'm like, all right, so I got this sitting here, no intention of wanting him or keeping him. It was a complete, all right, I have the rights to him, and I'll get something for him. Little did I know it was going to be somewhere, about a month before the keeper deadline was due that I traded it. I'm like, well, there was a gift. But no, Damian Williams, I think he'll go in our draft, even though he's ranked 81 and is not playing this year. I
Yep.
mean, he's good enough to, guys, obviously, you can't,
After what he did in the Super
he
Bowl, how
sits,
can
he
you?
takes up a roster spot. So you essentially, by having him, you only have 23 players because he's not eligible to be replaced by a IR spot. But
Right.
yeah, like you said, two Super Bowls in the fourth quarter?
I'll uh I'll
He
look
was a
at
big reason they even made the Super Bowl.
I'll look at trading for him late in the season.
Oh
So
yeah, like I said, he's possibly worth being a keeper next year. Now we move to the next hot position, which always has got talent, but this year I think it's got a lot of rookie talent again, and that's wide receiver.
it
We
does.
start off with Jerry Jeudy. I think there's a first rounder.
Yeah,
Now I know I'm
absolutely.
gonna screw some of these names up, so correct me if I say I'm wrong. So number 2 we got Brandon Ayuk.
Ayuk, I think.
Ayuk.
Yeah.
He'll be a first round. He's gone within the first 5 of the second, I think.
Well, and with Debo Samuel, you know,
Yep, he got hurt.
he's injured, so he might miss some time at the beginning.
And of all the kids on here, Ayuk actually had the most yards after catch of all the rookies in college.
Love the yak.
Um, Jalen Rager
Rager, I think.
with Philadelphia,
Yep.
he's rated 3. That's Philadelphia receivers. They always seem to have a lot of them,
They
and
need him.
right, they need them because they always get hurt. But their quarterback, I don't. I think it's high. I think he's high. I thought Philadelphia could have waited to get him. I thought he was drafted high in the NFL draft myself, but
He's shown glimpses, but yeah, he's definitely got to stay healthy, and part of that is that he's got to have healthy, reliable receivers to throw to. They've got a couple guys that are older, right? Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson.
Alshon Jeffrey's on this list at 17. He's starting off the season hurt.
Yep,
He's on the pup list.
yep, exactly. So that doesn't help him any.
Number 4, we got rookie CeeDee Lamb from Dallas. He's playing a situation. You got Gallup and you got Cooper. But here's the thing with Lamb. He got the famous 88, which
He
means
did.
he's got the put
Michael Irvin's old number.
right. Well, Drew Pearson, the original 88,
Okay.
he's actually up for the NFL Hall of Fame next year. But yeah, Michael Irvin, and then what? Then there was
Des Bryant.
nope, it wasn't Des Bryant next. It was
I know it.
oh geez, it was another Bryant, Antonio,
Oh yeah.
Antonio Bryant.
Oh, another blast from the
Yep.
past.
Then it was Des Bryant.
Yep. Yep. Who's trying to make a team and can't find a home. But
Um, and then we go now. Here we have our first non-rookie, and this is Anthony Miller with Chicago. I could see him going late first, early second as well.
hmm hmm
But again, another situation with the quarterback situation becomes sketchy.
it does, yeah. And you've got Robinson there as a number one.
Allen Robinson. Yep.
Yes, thank you, Allen Robinson. But it's
And they brought in Jimmy Graham.
it's a yeah, don't care. But
Well, but they actually have put into the tight because they also drafted high Cole Kmet from Notre Dame.
the Bears had more tight ends on their roster at the beginning of this season than I think all the other teams combined.
I think they still have Mike Ditka.
It was
I could be wrong.
I'll take him over Jimmy Graham. So
And at 6, we got rookie Henry Ruggs, who was actually the first rookie taken in the NFL draft to Las Vegas.
because he is so stinking fast. I can't remember his 40 time, but it was just stupid low.
Um, I personally I think Judy should have been the first wide receiver taken in the NFL draft. My personal preference. Um, and we got Tyrell Williams with Las Vegas. We got two Las Vegas receivers at 6 and 7. At 8, Justin Jefferson with Minnesota, who I mean, he did very well at LSU last year. Was a huge reason they won the championship.
Uh,
Huge reason that Joe Burrow had the success he had.
yeah, there's a lot of question marks there in Minnesota though. You've got a lot of vacated targets from Stephon Diggs, but at the same time Jefferson was a slot receiver at LSU, so
Well, not
are
only
you going to
that, you
put
got
him
a team that wants to run the ball more than they want to pass it.
exactly? They're a run first team.
Shout out Jimmy, Delvin Cook. Um, Here's one I think is overrated at 9 is Adam Lazard, and I don't know if that's just
This is to
it,
me it's
9 and 10. You know what? 9 and 10 I think are overrated, and I think they should both be lower down the list. John Ross.
yeah, and I can see Lazard being I don't know about 9, but still being up there a ways because you got to throw it to somebody, right? Aaron Rodgers is going to throw it to somebody. It can't be
He's got a pretty damn good receiver. Sorry for
one,
language. Pretty good receiver in Devontae Adams.
one.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So and there's nobody left there.
No. And then we got John Ross, who obviously had a lot of hype coming out of college when he played at Washington, was really, really fast,
Yeah,
um, but hasn't really seen the NFL. And then in his case, you already have AJ Green there, and they brought in a rookie. Tyler Boyd's there.
AJ
So,
Green's on a contract year too, I think.
right. So I think Ross at 10 is too high. Um, and then help me with 11. I can't say this name.
No, I got nothing. Laviska
Laviska
Shenault.
Chanute from Jacksonville. I don't know much about him. He played at Colorado. They were pretty high on him in the NFL draft.
Well,
Um,
I do expect Jacksonville to be playing from behind a lot this year.
yep. And then, you know what? Here we go. We got back-to-back Jacksonville receivers. Dede Westbrook. Now, Dede Westbrook is someone I've always liked. And I had him on my team last year for a little while. Um, and I remember he was coming out of college from Oklahoma. I mean, he had a first round grade on him.
hmm
And he plays well, but again, you have a situation where it's Gardner Minshew. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, Uncle Rico may have been great in a movie, but
mm,
I just
we'll see.
I think that they're playing for Trevor Lawrence next year, in my opinion.
The only thing I can say, like I said, they're going to be playing from behind a lot.
Yeah.
That defense has gone downhill quite a bit.
Yep. Oh my God, yes. Oh, they traded all away. It's not even that they went away. They gave it away.
Exactly.
I mean, what you get a fifth round for Calais Campbell?
But you're playing from behind. You're going to be throwing the ball, more opportunity.
You got 13 Randall Cobb, who obviously was with Dallas last year, is with Houston. Um, I think his time. I think he's more on the back end of his career at this point.
Little surprised he's still in the league, to be honest.
Well, that may have a lot to do with the fact that they got rid of Hopkins, so now they need
They
numbers to make up the
You do.
difference.
You need help.
Now we got a rookie, Michael Pittman in Indianapolis. I've heard good things about him. I know he was pretty good at USC. His dad actually played in the NFL, was the running back for Tampa.
Mm,
Um,
okay.
Same name, Michael Pittman, back in the early
That
2000s,
name does sound familiar,
late 90s, early 2000s.
and there should be opportunity there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and he's definitely got a quarterback that wants to throw it. But like we said earlier, they're going to be more on the run.
Run first team.
Sterling Shepard at 15. Obviously, he's
You kind of know what you're getting there.
yeah. 16, we got rookie Denzel Mims,
Who I believe is
hurt
has a
actually,
yeah, exactly a hamstring injury.
which I have to. There will be an update guide coming with this. I always do update guide, which that one will have basically it just has anyone that got hurt or if there's anything that's different from what is in here. It
Yep.
won't be different as far as the rating, but it'll be different if it shows they were hurt or they're on a different team or whatever. Let's move down this list a little bit. 20, we got T. Higgins in Cincinnati. Think he could potentially go late first, early second, because I'm guessing Cincinnati's mindset is we got AJ Green for this year,
Right.
and then this kid is who we want to pair with Burrow going forward,
Mhm.
along with obviously Tyler Boyd because he's still pretty young.
And John Ross.
Yep. Well, John Ross is another one. I think he's in a contract year actually.
Yeah.
I think this is his last year. Jimmy, he was he was his rookie year. John Ross was like a 7th overall pick in our draft. Jimmy. Um, Jimmy was high on him.
You
Uh,
take a defense in the next round.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got 21 Fitzgerald still there, still
Yeah,
holding strong.
he is.
Um, Chase Claypool, rookie with Pittsburgh. I've heard a lot of good things out of him. Along with 24 rookie Van Jefferson
Yep.
with the Rams.
Let me back up just for a second to Larry Fitzgerald.
Okay.
Okay, because old guy, been around a long time. So
First ballot.
first ballot for sure. And now that they got Nuke Hopkins in there, does that open things up for him? You got a mobile quarterback, right, in Kyler Murray, who showed a lot of promise last year. Everybody's expecting him to take the next step. You got a great running back in Kenyon Drake, or at least he showed great last year. So you can't you can't really defenses can't play the pass and disrespect the run. I'm wondering if
Well,
Larry
you can't
Fitzgerald,
because what's his face might just take
yeah,
off and
Kenyon
start.
Drake,
Oh, Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray might too.
He could
You're
just
right.
take off and run the thing down the field.
I'm wondering if Larry Fitzgerald gets more opportunity here because Nuke Hopkins is going to get all the attention.
Just run him on like
Fly
10,
routes.
15-yard outs
Yeah,
or
run Nuke on a
slants.
fly
And
route. Let
I mean,
Larry.
Hopkins is going to take all the attention because you're just going to launch him down the field.
So
Yeah.
I would love to see it. I'm a Fitzgerald fan.
Oh,
So
he's, like I said, he's a first ballot, and you don't say that about many.
and classy guy.
Absolutely.
No, no.
Um, let's see what. But Van Jefferson, I've been hearing a lot of good things, and he takes over. From what I've heard, he's getting the Cook's role.
Yeah, yeah. The number three receiver. The Rams kind of went away from that a little bit towards the end of last year. They started doing the two tight end sets a lot, and so we'll see what happens. I'm a big believer in Sean McVay,
Hmm.
on the offensive side especially. So I'm sure they're going to figure out something that's going to work.
Let's see, move along here a little bit. I don't want to spend our entire thing on any of the receivers kind of on the second page here that um,
Hmm.
Brian Edwards at 56. Las Vegas took him, I think, in the 3rd round. He had a pretty high grade coming out of South Carolina this year, so it'll be interesting to see there. And I think his value goes up next year because I don't know, depending what they do with Terrell Williams.
Yeah.
But there's definitely receiver openings in Las Vegas to be had. Going down the
Yeah,
list.
and then your offensive rookie of the year there at 77, Donovan Peoples-Jones, of course, a Michigan Wolverine. So now being in Cleveland, actually, don't expect to see much there. But he is ranked a step above Cordero Patterson.
Yeah. Um, who else we got on this list? Oh, number 84, Dante Pettis. I think he actually just got hurt. 85, Antonio Brown, free agent. Be
Oh
interesting to see.
yes,
So I think someone takes a flyer on him.
for
I've
sure.
heard you keep hearing him linked to all these openings,
Yeah,
or people are giving him tryouts. So he might. But then also the other thing about him is he actually when he comes back has to miss
8.
8 games. And then we have all the guys that are on the opt-out list. I put them on here because someone might find value in picking them and holding on to them. I don't know.
Absolutely.
We got Marquise Goodwin, Devin Funches, Alan Hearns, Albert Wilson, Marquise Lee, Travis Benjamin, and Geronimo Allison. I'd say of that group, Marquise Goodwin would be the only one that someone would really maybe want to hold on to.
I
Maybe.
I can see somebody taking a shot on either Alan Hearns or Albert Wilson. Albert Wilson's had some good scouting reports in the past, but he's been injury plagued. Um, so I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, and he's not on our list because he can't be, and that's Des Bryant. Now, I've heard he's had a workout with Baltimore. The reason he can't be on the list is he's not in the system.
Right.
So if he was to come, at this point, if he was to come in back to the NFL, he, there's gonna be some. But how much does Des Bryant guy have left? He hasn't played in a couple years. What was it last year? He tried to make a comeback and got hurt like in practice.
Yeah. I don't see him getting back on the field. Now you never know, right?
Right.
Injuries and that kind of thing.
Don't want to spend a ton of time here on tight end. Just point out maybe the top 10. We got Austin Hooper, who you actually had.
I did have him, yeah,
Um,
and he was having a great season before he got injured.
but they're expecting him to do pretty well in Cleveland. Maybe he could be Mayfield's safety valve.
Maybe.
We got Dallas Goedert from Philadelphia. Now, of course, he's got Zach Ertz playing in front of him.
And I believe he's injured. I can't remember
Oh,
what it is.
Janu Smith with Tennessee. Chris Herndon with the Jets at 4. Irv Smith, who's actually leapfrogged. Finally, someone's leapfrogged Kyle Rudolph.
That one boggles my mind. Irv Smith at 5. Minnesota barely uses tight ends,
I know
so
maybe they're thinking with the running game it'll soften up the middle of the field for them to do passes.
maybe.
Tyler Higbee at 6. Um, Greg Olson at 7. There's another old timer.
Oh my goodness.
Um, but there's like another Seattle's got kind of a committee by tight end. 8, Jack Doyle. There's someone that could benefit big time. Actually, I think Jack Doyle would have put up higher on this list.
Hmm.
Because obviously Rivers has always liked his tight ends.
Yes.
We got Ian Thomas at 9 and Blake Jarwin at 10. I see tight ends. Hooper should be the first one gone, but I think tight ends are going to be late. They're gonna kind of sit for a while in our thing,
There's
in
so
our
many in
draft.
here that are hit or miss,
Yeah.
right? There's a lot of names that I could definitely see a path where they could be successful, but it's definitely going to be an uphill
Well,
battle.
and there's some solid rookies potentially, but none of them are rated highly because none of them are really expected to play a lot. Um, I tell you this, 47, Thaddeus Moss. Now he just got released by Washington,
Hmm.
but um, I really thought that kid was going to be. I thought he would have got a chance in the league, and he still may. Someone may pick him up. He's actually hurt right now, but now we go to team defense. Okay, so we won't spend a lot of time in this. Just to go over the top 10 here. You got the Niners. I mean, clearly they will go probably the way defense typically works in our league. Once one goes, then you start seeing a run on everything. So San Francisco, I don't see going maybe late second, early third. It all depends on
Yeah,
how the rest of it goes. Um, then you got the Saints, Pittsburgh, New England. Now, New England, I think, is a little high because they've had a lot of guys opt out.
yeah,
5,
and they've got a tough schedule.
yep, 5, you got Tampa. 6 is the Colts. I actually would have put them up higher. I think their defense got better. Then we got the Chargers, the Broncos, the Packers, and the Seahawks. And the Seahawks actually were lower on this list originally until they made a trade for a certain safety
Mm,
from the Jets, Jamal Adams.
yes,
That really shot them up.
yes,
I mean, he is that good.
as it should.
He is that good. All right. Now, speaking of defense, now And we won't spend a lot of time on this either, obviously. And these are, again, with defense, it's kind of when someone makes a run at them, then you see, oh, I better get one because now they're going to start going. Defensive line, we got Danielle Hunter with Minnesota, DeForest Buckner, who was acquired by the Colts in a trade, Cameron Jordan, Chris Jones, Cameron Hayward from the Ohio State University, Sam Hubbard, also from the Ohio State University, Frank Clark, Jonathan Allen, J.J. Watt still holding in there tight, the old timer, and Josh Allen. That's your top 10.
We'll see what J.J. Watt's injury is this year.
Yeah. Moving on to linebacker. Now, linebacker this is where the points come in for the individual defensive stats. We got Rokon Smith at 1, Jordan Hicks 2, Kwan Alexander 3, Leighton Vander Esch with Dallas at 4, Corey Littleton, who I think you actually had last year at one point.
I did, yeah.
He was with the Rams last year. He's now a Raider.
And that was part of the reason for not keeping him. So,
Yeah, that kind of a change in defense there. We got Fred Warner at 6 with San Francisco. Levante David. I mean, this guy has been a tackling machine every year since he's been in the league.
yeah.
Danny Trevathan with Chicago. I'm hearing good things about him. Tremaine Edwards with Buffalo at 9, and Joe Schubert, who went to Jacksonville from Cleveland. Bobby Wagner, in my opinion, should have been higher on this list. He's at
Yeah.
11.
I was thinking the same thing.
I actually would have put him probably number 1, but that's just my personal opinion.
Well, and these are the hardest positions for me
hmm
in terms of drafting, in terms of swapping out waiver wire, making start decisions. Uh, not linebacker specifically, but
Linebacker is the
defensive
easiest to
players.
find is where the
It
talent
is.
is.
It is.
D line is the toughest.
Defensive lineman is the hardest for sure.
Couple else I want to point out. I mean, we got the rookie wise Patrick Queen with Baltimore at 29, and Kenneth Murray at 44 with the Chargers. Those are two guys that they're both high on, and they're starting this low, obviously because they're rookies. But don't be surprised if those two do top 20 production.
Yep. Yep.
And then
Khalil Mack at 35. Couple names that people might recognize.
Oh yeah.
Montez Sweat at 41.
T.J. Watts at 22. Devin White 17. Demario Davis, he usually gets pretty good production at 13.
Yeah, so there's value to be had.
And then we got defensive backs. Your top 10 are Jordan Poyer, John Johnson, Jamal Adams. Like I said, he just went to Seattle. Obviously, he's finally I think they got the replacement for Earl Thomas.
Mm.
You got Canu Neal, who always does well when he stays on the field. The problem is he always seems to get hurt at 4. Tyler Rapp with the Rams. I think that's a bit high. Jesse Bates at 6 with Cincinnati. Harrison Smith at 7. Landon Collins at 8. Both 7 and 8, I think, could be higher on this list. And the Honey Badger at 9. And we got Tracy Walker at 10. Other notable individuals on here. Jabril Peppers.
Yeah, Clinton Dix.
Fitzpatrick at 18.
Oh, Minka. Yeah.
Who else? Xavier McKinney, the rookie with the Giants. He was at Alabama last year, rookie.
Yeah, Micah Hyde in Buffalo down at 39.
Let's see. Oh, and then on this list, and this will be on the update. When I printed this, and I didn't notice until after the fact, Von Bell is at 24 from the Ohio State University, but he's actually going to show up on the second page. So
that's what you do with guys from that school. You put them on the back page.
And Antoine Winfield is ranked 48, and he's a rookie with Tampa, and I'm actually high on him myself. His dad also played for the Ohio State University. He's actually a pretty good defensive back.
Malcolm Butler down at 70.
But he's on the second page, and he's supposed to be on the first page. Who else?
Now you got a rookie on here, and he's all the way down at 90, right? Noah. I'm just going to say I.
This is a pretty popular guy on my stream. I berated the Dolphins for drafting him. Actually, Tony and I were just talking about this yesterday, and I went and gave a full apology. Don't be surprised if I draft him out of out of condolences because I feel bad for how I treated him in the draft stream. I may pick him. And when I do, I will again give this is for his parents, for any defensive back to ever play at Auburn, for their coaching staff, anyone who went to the school. But no, he's a good player. He is. But corners, and there are some of these corners aren't mixed in here higher than maybe they should because corners typically don't get you the stats the safeties do.
Oh,
Um,
the best corners don't get thrown that much.
just so you know, he actually I moved him up.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking 90. Not many people are looking into those spots to draft. I moved him up specifically for the kid. Patrick Peterson got him on there. AJ
Yep.
Terrell, the rookie with Atlanta at 92. Again, they're all corners. I think they're good. Jalen Ramsey at 88. Again, this isn't their actual value in real life. This is fantasy value. Jalen Ramsey would probably be what, number one on this list.
Yeah.
Um, and then kicker, we got
Which shouldn't be a part of any league, but
Hunter Buckner.
a few people even wasted spots on keeping a kicker. That was amazing to me, but
I can tell you this. I had Hunter Buckner for the last 2 years. If we had an 11 spot, I would have kept him. We got Matt Gay with Tampa at 2, Jake Elliott, Philadelphia 3, Dan Bailey at 4, Matt Prater 5, Robbie Gould
yep.
at 6, the old timer. Um, Justin Rowe,
Yeah, what's happened to New England's kicking? Uh,
I don't know. Vinatieri's out there.
they've
Belichick
rolled
could
a
bring him
few
back.
guys through there.
Goskowski,
All
he's
right.
a free agent still. But no, Jason Myers, Seattle's kicker at 8. Chris Boswell still holding tight at 9 for Pittsburgh. And Brandon McManus is still holding in there for Denver.
Hmm.
I mean, some of these guys have actually held their jobs for a long time. The one thing about kicker is I've seen this because I remember I had him, Carlos Santos,
Oh yeah.
when he was with Kansas City. This is
Yep.
before Buckner got there. And he was in the top 5 one year, and I didn't hold on. No, or did I hold on to him? I can't remember. Anyways, he was a top 5 rated kicker, and he didn't even. I had to like put an update. No, I didn't keep him that year. I had to update him because he got cut before the season even started. But going in, he was a top 5 when I was making the guide.
They're
So,
so they're so interchangeable.
yep.
And you talk about the guys that have held it for a long time. I mean, uh, it's amazing to see them move around so much because you only have to work like 30 seconds a week.
Hmm.
You go out there, you kick the ball, you go back on the sideline and drink beer or whatever they do, and but they're going all over the place. Everybody's moving everywhere.
All right, now let's skip around. Let's go to. We had talked about maybe doing draft needs. So I was thinking maybe we'd do. So to do that, we got to obviously look at what people have. And where's that sheet?
You're looking for the keepers.
No, I'm looking for my agenda,
Ah,
which is underneath this. Here we go. So let's see. We just covered who the top. We'll cover the top 25 when we're covering who people, how we think the draft will go. We're
right.
only going to, let's say we'll do maybe the first 2 rounds. I don't want to spend a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
time on
yeah,
it. And I will not pick for my spots. I'd say I'd pick for you, but you don't have one in the first or second.
yeah. So it makes it easy. You're
Um,
welcome.
so right now, let's look at team needs. So to look at team needs, we obviously have to examine each team. I know you were looking forward to doing this because I know you wanted to give your opinion on some people's teams.
I have a lot of opinions, so
You're
yeah, I'm
very
happy to share.
opinionated.
Yeah, and I probably shouldn't
You know what?
because
I tell you this. When you first came into the league, so your first year, 18, and I remember, I don't remember what the topic was. It was quarterback. Now I do remember.
oh yeah,
And you shook it up, and I was sitting there. I'm like, at first I was a little,
I
one of
was
these, one of these. But then I'm like, you know what? I start hearing your ideas, and they're not bad, and they actually make sense. And I mean, I'm glad you're a part of the league, and I think you add an element. In our league, we have 16 individuals, and you have half the room kind of goes with the room, and then you have the other half, which you're definitely one of the voices. And I know I'm not going to mention anyone else. I don't want to put them on the spot like that because I know there's a couple that have told me I don't want to be the voice in the room,
sure.
but they are the voice in the room, and people do listen to their opinion, and their opinions do make sense. Now, everyone's opinion in our league does matter. Don't get me wrong. For someone that doesn't say much, they still have an opinion because they have a vote. Because
Exactly.
it is a complete democracy. There's no dictatorship in this league. And yes, I sometimes do put up things for vote that are different, but they're meant to make things better. The draft lottery idea, for example, which originally I thought I didn't know if it would go through or not. I was very happy that it did, and I was very happy that it was kept
Yeah.
because I think it adds an element of the whole point of it is to do two things. One, to make someone push to try for the best of the rest,
Yes.
to actually make that matter. You could say, well, I could make a push for this even though my team isn't very good. I could have a chance to still get this and maybe have a chance to get the number one pick. Or it's also meant to push those that I'm going to take it this year. I want the number one pick next year.
Exactly.
This way, no one is guaranteed the number one pick. And that's why the NBA initially did that. And that's where I came up. Obviously, I took it from the NBA.
And that's the biggest benefit
And it's
to
only
me.
for the first round. So if you finish the worst record, you're getting the first pick in every other round.
Yep. No, I appreciated the opportunity to be able to, throw out some ideas, and a couple of them we've been able to work out into something that I think has been beneficial for the league.
Yeah.
A couple others have just kind of been dismissed, but that's all right too. Uh, but I will make a motion every year that we get rid of kickers until we finally do. And
Well, that one
no matter
I
how
won't be on
long,
board for that one.
no matter how long it
I
takes.
think the kickers are actually a valuable statistic. Um, and
It's just so boring.
I know, but the way we have our kickers structured, they're not. I mean, think about it. You could get, and now obviously you weren't. I don't think you were. I don't know if you were in the league. I don't know if your first year was the first year we did it, but we had it where when we made it to the kickers could get 50 points for a 50 plus
Yep.
yard field
Yep.
goal, and then but if they missed it, they got negative 50.
Right.
Were you in that season?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
And
mean,
and that is interesting, I would say. But boy, when a kicker puts up, as many points as one of my
running backs,
actual skill positions, yeah, that kind of burns your shorts a
you
little
know,
bit.
but the same token, they can also get you they can get you a lot of negative points
They
too.
can. They can.
They can go. I mean, I had one. I think it was maybe actually it was Buckner. I think there was one bad game he had. I had like negative, I think 20 points out of him. In our league, the way the points are, you don't want to have anything negative.
Right.
So go ahead. We'll start with my team. We're just gonna go right in order the way the keepers were. I don't want to go down the whole list. I guess just I
Yeah.
I guess everyone knows who everyone's kept. So I guess just kind of look at.
For the most part, I mean, so when I'm looking at your team and I'm looking at what you've kept, you've got a yeah, and I'll do high level. You got a quarterback, you got three receivers, you got a couple running backs, a couple tight ends, and three individual defensive players,
Mhm.
right? So, did I miss anything there? I think I got
No.
them all. So, and you even said it on one of your streams. It's obvious you're going running back right out of the gate.
Oh yeah.
There is one running back from that school that you are so slap happy about, even though he's behind a complete stud Hall of Famer, 15 touchdowns last year. I'm pretty sure that's going to be your number one pick overall.
Let me say this. I'll give everyone a little insight. The first overall pick has been decided. Um, in fact, let me go as far as this. The jersey has been ordered and will arrive here Monday.
So, so because Jimmy has the
Jimmy
number
has
two
two,
pick.
so the draft starts at 2.
Jimmy has the number two pick, and looking
But
at
we're talking
his,
about we're breaking the.
I
We'll
am,
come back. We'll come
I
back to
am.
that.
We'll circle back. Okay. So yeah, that's what I expect, and
So
and you're right. You can only look at kind of the first couple rounds because after that it gets pretty messy.
I mean, I'll look at my own team and I'll tell you. Obviously, even though I made a trade to get Kirk Cousins, which I thought was a deal that benefited both me and Nick, which we'll come to his in a second. But um, obviously, I only had Haskins, and
Hmm.
it's not exactly the happiest quarterback class this year. So I knew I was gonna, unless I made a trade, I was gonna have to do something at quarterback because even though I love Haskins and I I stand by him that he's gonna have a good career, you know, I mean I'm a team that is heavy running back receiver dependent, um, and I have to draft. Definitely my first pick has to be a running back, no question. Probably my third pick needs to be a running back as well. With my tight ends, I have two good ones, I think. However, they both have the same bye week, so that's a little bit of an issue. So I may have to pick up another tight end at some point. Um, but what I like to do is, and this is the thing that hurts me for next year with the only keeping 5.
Hmm.
I like having I keep the three individual defensive players because I think I have the best defensive lineman in the league. My opinion, as far as outside pass rusher, Aaron Donald's inside. He's not outside.
Mhm.
I think I have one of the best young middle linebackers in the league in Jalen Smith. And I think and obviously he was hurt last year, but Derwin James is as good a safety as you're going to find in this league.
And
And that's
it's
one of my things is I want to have a strong defense.
and it's interesting to hear you talk about that 'cause, I remember one of your earlier streams you talked about these guys are all top five at their position, right? So and that made me start thinking about kind of just what's your approach, what's your philosophical approach. I mentioned earlier, I think that I like to have running back as the core of my team, but then beyond that, when I'm looking at individual positions, I'm looking at it as tiers. And
Hmm.
quarterback's probably the easiest example. Generally speaking, as far as most experts are concerned right now, you've got two quarterbacks that are in the top tier, right?
Hmm.
Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes.
Hmm.
Now, in our league, Dak Prescott actually scored the most points last year. Now, but you look at, obviously there's other factors. So then what's the next tier? Probably your Dak Prescott, and a handful of other guys. By the time you get down to the lower tiers where you've got, geez, guys, like I'm gonna struggle here, but
Haskins.
I,
I think Kyler Murray will emerge in that top 10.
I do too.
I wasn't
So
high on the
what's the
kid
gap?
coming out initially, Kyler Murray. Not to
Mhm.
cut you off, but
You're fine.
I just he's in my head, so I want to say it. Kyler Murray is someone initially I didn't because I thought the same thing I thought with Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson when he got drafted, I'm like this kid is gonna get broken in half.
Hmm.
But he's worked physically to get himself bigger. So now the kid's actually a beast. He's not necessarily like some China, like you said, Chinadale earlier with I think it was James Conner.
Yeah.
I looked at him as my God, Khalil Mack is going to bend him in half, and I thought the same with Murray. And he's what 5'9", but the kid is
Yep.
like he's hard to catch. He's smart the way he runs it. So and somebody like Patrick Mahomes, people look at oh he's a running quarterback. He's actually not,
Not so much.
and he doesn't want to run the ball. That's what people understand is he would rather be. He's
Which is
honestly
why he's
he's a
so good.
faster Brett Favre because he wants to actually throw the ball
Mhm.
more than he wants to run it. The running this has to it just if it has to if he has to run it, he has to run it.
They gotta be smart about it though. That's how these running quarterbacks keep themselves upright is by being smart, being shifty, getting down, and not taking unnecessary hits. So
So I guess quickly, obviously running back and quarterback are probably the two biggest things I need the most. I think would you agree? And probably in that order.
absolutely, yeah, I expect you've got the 1 and 3 pick. I expect them both to be running backs
Yep.
to be just
And
call it what it
we'll
is.
do a little draft thing here in a second. So next up we got Tony Mize. Now Tony Mize has made a lot of trades in the offseason. Um, completely reshaped the team from what he had, probably three times over. Um, and that's a good thing. He's new to the league. He actually was in my basketball league this year. That was his first time. And he's
So
not.
you've been mentoring him. He's
Well, he's not a newcomer. From he's told me he used to do fantasy all the time, and he got a period where he got out of it. But he told me at one time he was like, for example, Guy does like 6 leagues in a year,
oof,
and
oof.
he said he used to do like 5 or 6 leagues a year, and then he just got kind of burnt out with it. But he's fully committed to this, and he's trying to find because he knew what he was given. He wasn't exactly given a strong team.
Hmm.
It was a strong team a few years back. It was a playoff team a few years back, but it got old and injured, and he's like, "Look, I'm just trying to find my five for next year."
Right, right.
And
But he also kept three defensive players,
yep,
individual defensive players. So that's
but they're both again, they're in that now. Garrett is just a pure talent. I don't think statistically he's in the top five. Buda Baker, I think if you put everyone together, statistically actually is the number one or number two defensive back.
hmm hmm
And Zach Cunningham was in the top five if I remember.
So then when I look at the rest though, there's a couple things where I go, I mean, Tony, and I don't mean to offend anybody. Don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to help, which I shouldn't do because you're my competition, but it's just the kind of nice guy I am. But you kept Paris Campbell. Yeah, I mean, I know somebody's got to catch the ball, right? We'll see. Maybe that's a better move now that he's got a quarterback upgrade than I
Well, now that
initially
he's
thought.
healthy though too.
He is
Campbell
healthy.
did, Campbell missed almost
He
his
was
entire rookie
essentially
season.
redshirted. Yeah,
Um,
yeah. So we'll see. And then Golden Tate. Go, Golden
he had to
Tate,
keep someone. I mean, I guess
you
is
do.
another way to look at it. Like
You
I
do.
said, he
Well,
wasn't.
and that's what I was gonna say. Golden Tate's gonna be up and down because it's PPR,
Mhm.
right? So if it weren't PPR, Golden Tate probably he's not nearly as valuable.
Right.
So playing those matchups, that can be tough to do though.
Those are the names we got to look at. Those are right there. Those two, Philip Rivers and Todd
Todd
Gurley.
Gurley, yeah, yeah, that's interesting. So running back Jordan Howard. Just looking at who else you got at the position. So Todd Gurley and Jordan Howard um, definitely has a need there, and that'll be I would expect that position to be
Hmm.
first round pick as well for Tony.
Keenan Allen still has value, and he's actually been staying healthy.
He was a number 10 receiver last year, if I remember right.
But I
Now,
mean, for a while there, he was always I mean, for a while he was a top five receiver, and then he got hurt all the time, so
yep,
he kind of dropped him
yep.
down. But he's been staying healthy, and
Well, we'll see what effect a different quarterback has.
right. And you have Tyrod Taylor, and you got a rookie. So,
Yep,
but
yep.
he's still going to obviously get balls thrown his way. Um, so I'm like you said, running back is definitely a position he needs to address.
Yeah, I would think
Um,
running back and receiver. I mean,
Quarterback. I
you're
mean,
gonna.
he
I was
needs
just
to
gonna
get a
say
young quarterback.
you need it. Yep, you need
But
a quarterback
like I
too.
said,
So
at the end of the day, he's got to get he's gearing towards 2021. I'm not saying he's tanking it. He's not. What I'm
mhm,
saying is he
mhm.
needs to establish his five because he's not going to be competitive in 2020.
Yep. And there's a few teams in that position.
Right, there are. And but that's what 2021 is going to help do. Now, the reason I know he's not going to try to tank it is because he doesn't even have a first round pick next year because he traded that
Mm.
away.
So you can't possibly get the number
So
one
it's not like,
overall.
yeah, so he can't get number one. So it's not
Mm.
like he's tanking it to get the number one overall pick.
Yeah.
I actually have his number one pick next year.
Already.
So,
Wow. What are
um,
y'all doing giving him the first pick every single year?
okay, this
You're
is our
killing me,
seventh draft.
Saul.
This is gonna be our seventh draft, and I've had this will be my fourth time having the first overall pick. And of those four, only one was actually mine, and that was our initial first draft. And the
Okay.
reason I had that was because we had just like the
Because you're the
lottery.
commissioner, so you get to.
No, 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 no. And I have video footage of it. No, we had just like the draft lottery, we had the eggs, but there was just one in each. And Efren was not initially in the league at the time.
Yeah.
He was a
Oh,
independent
he was
person.
the.
So he picked him out, and I remember he sitting there. He picks it out, and I didn't want the first pick. I actually wanted the last pick in the first round
Hmm.
because we snaked it. So I wanted
Yep.
to kick into the
Yep.
second round, and he picks it. I'm like, oh god, how's this gonna? And
So
he even made a comment. He goes, this isn't rigged. He goes, unless there's at the time there was 14 teams, unless there's 13 other Eric Millers in this, this wasn't rigged. But no, I've had four. So this would be the four, the
the fourth
seven.
one.
Mark had two, and then my brother Chris, who was actually Dennis's team, had the other one.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
all right, so let's move on to Ray. Now, this is another team that I personally think is going to be in the playoff. And actually, at first, I was like, I wasn't looking at this, and then I just sat down a few days ago. And I'm like, holy cow,
Yeah.
this team is going to make a push for the championship.
There's definitely some talent here, and a pretty uh, deep and unreceivable wide receiver core.
Probably the best receiving core in the league.
Oh yeah, yeah. Now maybe you got a little lucky hitting on Marquise Brown, right, last year, but I mean you got Julio Jones, you got Odell Beckham, and you got to assume that what's come out about his core injury last year was real
Hmm.
because he just didn't put up what he did. Now he's tied to Baker Mayfield, unfortunately, but regardless, Julian Edelman, who is the possession receiver for New England,
He'll still get catches.
he'll still put up points, absolutely.
I think he's got obviously a quarterback. It's
Yeah,
not the most blow you away quarterback room, but it's
but you don't
middle
need
of the
that.
pack.
You don't need that. Between Tannehill and Roethlisberger, is that
Yep.
yeah, those two, um, yeah, you'll be fine right there. And then Nick Chubb, I mean Nick Chubb's a stud.
Hmm.
So yeah, he's set up pretty well.
Now he doesn't pick until I believe he's one of the ones that doesn't pick until he might pick in the second actually, but it's
Who's
a
that, Raymond?
yeah
Yeah, second round.
second round. That's right. Yep.
fourth
Fourth row.
overall.
Yep.
Yeah.
So probably running back because he's got two. He's got Chubb and he's got Philip Lindsay. So
Yep.
running back is probably where he needs to rush
Yep.
with that first pick.
Yeah,
But
that's going to be the most pressing need.
but
So,
he's looking for depth. Really, he's got his starting unit. I mean, Eric
yep,
Ebron I think could do well in Pittsburgh.
he could.
So now we move on to Dennis.
All right.
Um, this is another team that's it's in my division, and it's a solid team I think. I mean,
It certainly could be.
he needs pieces. He's
It
like,
does.
is he at the top end of the league? No. Is he? He's if you put an average grade, he'd be above average.
For sure.
So he's definitely competing for a division championship for sure with
For sure.
me.
He's and here
You got
again,
your boy Mark Ingram.
it is. Here again, I think running back is the biggest need. Mark Ingram is the one running back that I have confidence in
Hmm.
here. Because
We
what
got
else we got?
we got Fournette. I
Leonard
mean,
Fournette.
Fournette should be a monster and just tear the league up. For
eh,
whatever reason, he's just in his head is
Consist
psychological issues.
and has consistently underperformed.
I like Tevin Coleman. I think
Yeah,
he
I'm
could.
not sold. And
Um,
we'll see. Maybe he'll do well, but
I mean, he might. Now that I really look at, he might actually have the best quarterback pairing in the league.
yeah. Oh, Drew Brees and Josh Allen.
That might be the best
Absolutely.
quarterback pairing. He's got current and he's got his future.
Yeah, yeah. And Drew Brees, just outside of one season, I think, he's always one of the top quarterbacks.
Chris Goodwin,
Wide
Amari
receiver core
Cooper.
solid. Yeah, Chris Godwin, Amari Cooper could both be top 10
Hmm.
receivers. Uh, Ted Ginn, that's I feel like
That was, if I remember, that was his number 10.
it had to be
Yep.
because you might as well throw a dart at a board with the names you got left.
Noah Fant is going to get production with what they're doing in Denver.
A lot of red zone targets for him last year. So yeah, he's got a pretty good setup here.
Now we'll move on to a team that you're very familiar with the owner,
Uh,
Christina.
well, that's not my computer. Uh, yeah,
Uh,
this is another one that won't be competing this year. So,
well, I mean, she's not going to be a pushover either.
well, again, you kept a kicker. So here's the thing here.
I think
So,
there's a lot of people that would probably love to have her running back situation.
and she's got look. None of these running backs are studs. Okay, Lev Bell gets volume, but he plays for the Jets.
Melvin Gordon is not a stud.
Melvin Gordon remains to be seen. Melvin Gordon
Good change. You're right because he
has
changed of
been a
place.
stud in the past.
If
He
T.Y. Hilton stays healthy, obviously he is a phenomenal wide receiver.
Robert Woods is the best name on this roster to me. Robert Woods is consistently productive for the Rams. You love, or at least I love the potential with Carson Wentz.
Hmm.
He's one that's had trouble staying healthy. We talked about that
Oh
earlier.
yeah.
Running, or I'm
Oh,
sorry, his
when the
wide
kid
receivers,
plays, he's amazing.
and he's in a weak division.
Oh yeah.
So you got that going for you, which is nice.
Um, Obviously she does not have a first round pick because she has Le'Veon Bell. That was part of that deal.
But she needed to make that move. Her running back core was so weak that she needed to get touches.
Hmm.
Lev Bell gets a lot of touches, so that gives you a nice floor.
So you're right. She's essentially looking for her 5 for next year.
Yeah,
Let's see. Now we have defending 3-time champion, who is going to take a little bit of a step back because of some situations that have happened in the offseason. He still has a pretty solid team, but he acquired Darius Geis and Galladay in a deal where he gave up Mixon, and then Geis, of course, is so essentially he's only got 9 guys on here. Um,
but you
but
can hold him for next year.
well, he could hold him for next year, but
Actually, he might get picked up by somebody.
he might. He might, but it's a lot. I mean, that's a pretty bad. And from what I hear, the situation's getting worse and worse because they're actually going back to looking at his college stuff.
And that's just it. Yeah, it's going to get worse. So it's a big unknown right now.
But running back overall is a hurt for him for sure. So running back is a definite need for him.
Yes.
But because like Cortland Sutton, I think he's the end fell
Yeah.
off Sutton.
Yeah.
Now I know he's high on Kareem Hunt, and he thinks that if something happens with Chubb, because he thinks Hunt's a better running back.
I'm high on Kareem Hunt too, and I actually think, regardless of if something happens to Chubb or not, Hunt is still going to be a very good RB2. And then, yeah, if if he ends up with the starting job, if Chubb goes down, you've got a top 5 running back right there.
He's got probably the third best, in my opinion, after Kittle's and Kelsey. He's got probably the third best tight end,
Yeah, you're welcome
if
for that
healthy.
trade
If healthy.
because ouch, that was
Well,
definitely
no,
one of the
that actually you
trades.
traded him to Tony. That
Oh,
was
that's right.
you traded him to Patrick, and then Tony traded him to Nick this
Yeah,
year,
regardless, that was one of my oops. And I hate it, it pains me to say this, but Stafford's a top 10 quarterback.
right? I was the one that had Mark Andrews.
Were you?
Yes. But we could like keep so many. So I had him as rookie year. Yeah, definitely. But you look at Nick's team, definitely running back is obviously Rush.
Yeah,
Um, you could probably say obviously quarterback would be second. I mean, we're not going to say defensive for anyone because obviously everyone doesn't have, no one has defense. So everyone needs defense. So that's
right.
why we're not really, we're just mentioning the offensive production.
Right, yeah, it is. It's running back, and then no matter where you go after that, it's depth pieces.
Yeah.
So it's almost best available. And quarterback is definitely a thin area.
So next we go to Rich's team, and I think this is definitely a team that now he won it all in 2015, and he was in the final in 2016. He's always been tough to play. He's always had a solid team, and I think that continues this year. I mean, even though it's a bit of a change from what he's had. First, he made the trade for you to get Drew Lock at quarterback. So quarterback, I think, is probably his biggest need.
It is, and there's some hype around Drew Lock this
Mhm.
year. I'm not sold. I mean, we'll see. He's got Cortland Sutton to throw to, so that certainly
Well, he's
helps
got
him
Jerry
out.
Judy,
He's got Jerry
Noah
Judy,
Fant.
so if that works out, but we'll see. But he didn't have a starting quarterback at the time,
Right.
and quarterbacks, we've had the conversation before that there's only so many starting quarterbacks, and
You could say he's got a pretty tough receiving core.
he does. I'm not quite sure about Nelson Aguilar being in there. Is he the one that had?
He went to Las Vegas, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, the but having Michael Thomas, Stephon Diggs, who,
DK Metcalf.
yeah,
I mean,
DK
he's got
Metcalf's
five
a stud.
receivers. You're right. Two of them aren't, but I'm just looking at the value of those three alone.
Hmm.
Thomas, Diggs, and Metcalf, and
Hmm.
it's a pretty tough group. Running back, obviously, he definitely needs running back very badly as well. Now, he's got Aaron Jones, who obviously is going to get a lot of production, like we talked about earlier. But he's also got AJ Dillon there, so how much does that take away from Jones's production?
Well, and you know what? The Packers are going to be throwing the ball more.
Yeah,
Uh, they won so many games last year by one score. I expect them to be trailing more this year, and by more than that. So, uh,
I thought actually Green Bay did better last year than I had originally anticipated.
oh, they
I actually had
overperformed.
Chicago, Minnesota as the top two going into last year.
Green Bay overperformed what their roster.
I mean, the
So
fact that they were in the NFC Championship game was pretty amazing.
unbelievable.
Running back, obviously, is like you said, Aaron
It's
Jones.
running back and
Now, David
quarterback.
Johnson, if he stays healthy, has the opportunity to perform well.
He does.
But the big if is if he stays healthy.
Absolutely.
And then Snell, could potentially put some stats up for him, but
You're going
that's
to
all
have to have
dependent
James
on
Conner
your
go down.
situation. So,
You're going to have James Conner go down,
yeah.
to get value there.
Now, the one thing he does have that no one else in our league will touch is linebacker. He has the best linebacker in football right now, as far as from a fantasy standpoint. Darius Leonard outperforms most running backs in our league. He's that good. So trust me, there was a few people I know because we're trying to acquire that trade.
I believe it.
I was one of them, I think. But so now we will.
Baby, I love you. You don't have to send me those nasty texts.
Oh, jeez.
All I can be is honest, baby.
Well, I know you're right here next to me. I don't know why you're talking to the camera. You just gotta look at me after I sent those to you. All right. So next we got Anthony Sykes.
All right.
Anthony Sykes, in my opinion, with what happened with the Darius Guy situation, I think Anthony's team is the class of his division. I think he's actually the one to beat in the in their division between Anthony, Tony, Nick Ritz, and Nick Ergang.
This definitely strong. strong roster, right? Your wide receiving core with Tyler Lockett, John Brown, and Juju. Juju, of course, disappointing last year, but you're getting Ben back. Quarterback Kyler Murray, who showed up last year. You expect to jump there. And strong running backs. Kenyon Drake's a top 5 running back.
Actually, we were just talking about a minute ago about Dennis. I mean, this is a pretty darn good
It
quarterback
is.
pairing, Garoppolo and Murray.
It is. Yeah, I'm not as high on Garoppolo just because they're a run first team, but he's not going to be your weekly play.
Right.
So,
He's not going to get you negative points.
right, right. You got a safety valve there.
And
Strong
they
team.
put offensive production around him to better the passing game.
They
Obviously, you
do.
got, like I said, if you're a Kelsey or Kittle's guy, either one's one and one's two. You could
It
almost
is.
call him 1A and 1B. I don't know.
Kittle's younger, so
Kittle's is younger, but he got hurt actually last year, if I remember, for a little while.
yeah,
He did miss some time because I remember watching a game where I think he was dancing in the press box or something. But no, it's a solid roster. David Montgomery, like I said that earlier, we talked about that.
he's going to get lots of opportunity.
Nick Bosa. I mean, let's just face it. He's I think he's the second best Bosa, but I do like him a lot.
Yeah,
Everyone has fun in this league. Just for all those who don't know, I do like Ohio State. If you haven't figured that out yet, and people do have fun when someone else takes a Buckeye that I can't get a shot at. Tony actually made the comment to me that
and
maybe I'm just going to draft all Buckeyes this year.
and you're sitting on that first and third pick
Yeah.
with Jimmy right between.
Speaking of, we're moving right into Jimmy here. Of course, Jimmy had the worst record last year, but he has 4 picks in the first 17.
Yeah, yeah, he's set up to really acquire some talent. So you need a running back here. You got what? Dalvin Cook, Tariq Cohen, and Alexander Madison. Which at least
Well,
you got
Madison
Cooks.
obviously is a reactionary to if Cook was to get hurt.
Exactly. You've got Cook's backup, which I think is a good move. He actually showed up well
Hmm.
last year when he got the opportunity. So you need a running back. Um,
Doesn't need to touch quarterback. I mean, maybe get like I mean, he wanted a third quarterback, but I mean, he can wait.
yes,
Maybe
that's
take a
not a
rookie or
it's not a
something
high
later.
priority.
Right.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. You know what? Shouldn't I wouldn't have kept him. Just me personally. Rodgers is just not putting up enough
That de-
anymore.
but it depends what your 10 are also. I mean,
It does, but Daniel Jones is going to outproduce Aaron Rodgers 75% of the weeks this year. Easily.
maybe. Maybe.
Easily. He gets to throw to Saquon. Yeah.
Yeah, but Saquon's all. I mean, you're gonna have a running back taking more. There's more running to be had in New York than there is I think, in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, there is.
but both quarterbacks are playing in weak defensive
But then
divisions.
or then you got so his receivers, right? Debo Samuel.
Who
He's
just
going
got
to be the
hurt?
one. He is injured, but he's going to be the one.
Right.
So, but again, another situation where you're not throwing much.
Slayton is a pairing to Jones.
AJ Green, hey, flip a coin on that one, because it's been a
If
minute
he's
since we've seen him.
healthy,
It's been a minute though,
yeah.
and he's on the wrong side of 30.
Yeah. And he's got a young tight end, obviously, and who I think he'll get some production from Stafford this year.
TJ Droppinson, yeah, yeah. Good luck
Um,
with that. That's why I don't have any line.
like I
Oh
said,
wait, I do have a lion.
he's got 4 picks in the first 17, so he's definitely going to have the. This roster is not going to look like this
No,
when
no,
he's
no.
done.
He's gonna add some depth pieces and probably be in pretty good shape.
Probably get himself some keepers for next year too.
Exactly.
Now we move on to Efren, who just missed the playoffs. Actually, just missed winning the division last year. Had he won one more game, he would have won the division, and I would not have been in the playoffs last year. So we got he's solid at tight end. Well, as long as Ingram stays healthy, he's solid at tight end.
Well, and Zach Ertz. I mean, does he?
Yeah, Zach Ertz
Zach
obviously is his
Ertz.
main tight end, but
Right.
Evan Ingram, when healthy, does do well.
He does absolutely.
Um, he's good at quarterback. I mean,
Did you trade Goff to him?
yes,
Ah, friend.
Goff is a good quarterback.
Goff is a mediocre quarterback. He has real good receivers, which obviously
He
that
had a
helps.
bad year last year.
But Matt Ryan, I mean, that's your weekly.
Right. No,
Matt
Goff
Ryan's
is, and when we talked, I'm like, look, I go, do you want a chance to get Burrow at 12? because that's where he was drafting, was 12. I go, do you
Yeah.
want a chance getting Burrow at 12, which you probably won't, or I'll trade you Goff. You got your backup to Matt Ryan, a
Yep.
guy that is going to be a 16 game quarterback.
4,000 yards every year.
So
Has Julio Jones.
he's set at quarterback, and receiver. I think he's got a really good receiving core. You got Curtis Samuel. You got Devontae Parker, who's finally emerging in Miami, and DJ Moore.
Yeah, what's going to happen to Parker once Tua takes over, though? We'll see. DJ Moore's a stud. Curtis Samuel, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen there either with quarterback change.
Bridgewater's a good quarterback.
He is. He is, and Samuel is the deep threat, if I remember right. So, and they're going to be playing from behind because Carolina's defense
Yeah.
is just bad.
And then of course he's got running back. Geez, I mean, he's only got two, but I guess if you're going to have two, maybe these are two that you'd want to have.
Derrick Henry's an absolute stud. Another top five guy. So of course, always assuming that they're healthy.
And of course, Marlon Mack had 1,000+ years last year. And now obviously, the difference between Mack and and Henry is that Mack has obviously got another running back to deal with, where Henry is
He does,
it's
and
his show.
he does, and Mack went over 1,000 yards last year too.
But they are talking about doing 500 carries
Whew.
between the two of them, Taylor and Mack. So there's production there for sure at running back. It sounds like Indy wants to run the ball more than they want to throw
They
it.
absolutely do.
Um, well, we come to your team now.
All right,
All right,
that
so I guess I get to take over on this one.
right.
Obviously at quarterback, I think you're solid. I mean, you've got your starter in Prescott, and possibly Bridgewater, who for some reason the G didn't show up. Um, but and then of course you traded during after the keepers, you trade for Dalton, so you've locked up the Dallas quarterback situation.
I definitely wanted to have a piece of that offense.
And at running back, like we talked about earlier, you have a solid running back situation with Barkley, Josh Jacobs, um, James Conner, and we didn't really talk a lot about Kerryon Johnson.
We didn't,
Now,
and
obviously, Swift is there, but Kerryon Johnson's still going to get a workload. But there's another one like Connor. Will he stay healthy?
well, and he's not right now. He was in a boot last week, so
A better a boot last week than a boot in 3 weeks.
right. So we'll see. He's going to be on my bench. The other three are going to be playing until I see how this pans out with this DeAndre Swift situation.
Mhm.
And you still got, they've got a couple other, and of course I'm blanking on, but there was a guy that showed up pretty well last year when On was out. Yep,
Scarborough.
Bo Scarborough. Right, right. So I expect him to get a little bit of work too. So yeah, I've got to sit that. I was trying to deal On, but nobody was having it. So I'll
Um,
sit on him and see what happens.
receiver doesn't blow you away, but they're solid.
Hey, Cooper Kupp was fifth wide receiver five in our league last year.
And we were just talking about Jared Goff.
Yep. Yep. That's all Cooper Kupp. Goff throws him like a 5 yard pass, and Kupp does the rest. But
Gallup, I like Gallup. I think Gallup's really, really good. But the only thing is, obviously, now they add CeeDee Lamb. How much are they going to take away from Gallup?
right, right.
And Marvin Jones should be the second receiver in Detroit.
I like a lot of number two receivers, right? A little less attention. I think I'm real high on Stafford this year,
Yeah,
so
less coverage.
give me somebody that's going to be catching the passes from him. And with Michael Gallup, I mentioned it earlier. I know what I'm getting with Michael Gallup. He had a breakout year. Rookie comes in, you don't know what you're going to get. So,
The roster you have, I'd say, because you don't pick till the third.
mhm.
Obviously, probably. I mean, you could almost just start writing your defense right there. Otherwise, I'd say maybe add receiver in the third round, and there's a lot of them to be had. So
Yeah, I'll be looking for some receiver depth and of course defense. Yeah, I didn't keep any defensive
no,
players.
but definitely, obviously, a
This
top
is
three contender for the whole thing
oh,
this
this
year.
is a league-winning roster right here.
Oh, it's
So
yeah, it's definitely up there.
that's I mean, the running backs are just steak sauce. A1. Those are I got two guys that I believe are going to finish in the top five,
Hmm.
and another one that's going to be in the top 10. And like I said before, that's where I want the core of my team to be.
Now we go on to Nick Ergang, and this team is another one where they're not a pushover, but they're definitely probably looking to 2021 at quarterback. And again, I mean, he's set at quarterback. He doesn't have to worry about quarterback in this draft at all. Maybe pick up a rookie quarterback or something. But you got Lamar Jackson. I mean, you got your keeper right there for
Yeah,
2021.
you do.
And obviously you got Mayfield. Um, and then running back, he's got two solid starting running backs in Austin Eckler and Miles Sanders. Now they don't blow you away, but they're going to get carries where they can get production and be solid. And I could potentially see both of those as keepers for next year.
Yes.
Terry McLaurin from the Ohio State University is someone he's high on. I was high on. Trust me. I think probably 5 different times I tried to trade for him this year, and he's like, no, I want to keep him and see really what he can do.
Yeah, good call on that, keeping him. And if he could just get a solid quarterback, like I don't know, an Alex Smith or something to throw him the ball, he'd be a wide receiver, the wide receiver one probably.
Emmanuel Sanders still can get production. Obviously, he's older. Hurd is out. Just I saw Hurd is actually out for the year.
Yeah.
He's got Justin Tucker, who actually I believe is the number one rated kicker. He's actually had him, I think, every year. I think he's always kept him. But he
That's
produces kicks. I mean, he produces points.
saying you're the number one rated kicker is like saying you're the number one rated Parcheesi player, or I don't know.
Thank
Another
you.
kicker, congrats.
I'm the number one Partisi player.
Oh,
Just kidding. They play the game second in my life.
uh,
And obviously he's got Jamison Crowder. So I would say he's got the 6th overall pick. He's going to be in a situation where, okay, so the stud running backs in our draft are going to be the main 4 are gone. There's 4 main
exactly.
ones, and so he might have a shot at one, or does he go with, for example, the top receiver? Does he go Judy? Does he go
Right.
Ruggs or
Right.
Lamb or Ayuk? I mean, he's going to have his place for that, or does he draft a running back and say, you know what, this will bolster that, and I could still be a player potentially because you could see Akers falling to 6.
Hmm.
Who else?
Well, Swift potentially, anyone that's not a rookie, you could see falling
Yeah.
there. Now, but that then begs the question: how do you differentiate? Which one do you pick? Right? Because you got question marks around pretty
Hmm.
much all of them. So that makes it tough. I mean,
Um,
I know what my pick would be in that situation, and
well, we'll get to that in a minute.
perfect.
All right, we'll move on to the other team that I think is a top 3 in our league, and that's Ross Carlson. And I mean, just wow. I mean, you talked about your roster. This is another one that's,
Yeah.
another wow. I mean, first of all, we know his quarterback is going to be Russell Wilson, and he's got Sam Darnold as his backup. So he doesn't have to really touch quarterback unless maybe he wants to get a rookie as just in case.
Right.
I mean, could you ask for us? I mean, it's not overall the most strong receiving core, but it's definitely in the top 5.
Right.
I mean, you got Hopkins and Adams right there. There's your
Those are two top
right.
five receivers, and then
Um,
Allen Robinson could
we'll get
is
points for sure.
yeah.
And then running back, I mean, you got Kamara, you got Jones, Chris Carson. Obviously, it's a question mark as far as health, but still, he's expected to play and start. So potentially, he's got 2,000-yard running backs with Kamara, who can get 50, 60 catches thrown in.
Yeah, yeah, that's a
Um,
real strong roster.
and oh, geez, did I mention he's got Travis Kelsey? I mean, this is actually if I was you, and let's say you make it all the way to the final, I'm hoping not to face this roster.
I was just gonna say I'm glad he's not in my division.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's him and Ray. Him and Ray are going to have some good battles this year.
right.
Now we move on to actually, and literally the way these worked out, how I put them on paper, or how I got the keepers.
Oh, okay.
So if you want to know who was first and who was last, so that's how they were given. So now we just talk about your division from here on out.
Sweet.
So we start with Guy.
They're all terrible.
We start with
Uh,
Guy, and oh geez, look at that. He's got Patrick Mahomes.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, he's rolling with the homies, his homies. Uh, Obviously you're set at quarterback. Yeah, I mean you need depth because that's the only quarterback you have, right?
Right.
But that's not going to be probably a high priority. You
That,
going into the receivers, DJ Chark, gotta like him a lot. Uh, he's got N'Keal Harry,
I
Nikhil.
think he had a bad rookie year, but I think he has a chance. But people don't understand is maybe playing with Tom Brady if you're a young player might not be a good thing either,
Yeah,
because Tom Brady expects so much out the gate that if you don't show up the way he wants you, Robbie Anderson's going to get opportunities in Carolina.
he is.
Darren Waller, I mean, wow, did he come out of nowhere
The
last year?
Walrus, yes, he could be the target leader for that team at the end of the year.
Obviously, he kept Aaron Donald. He needed a 10th guy,
Yep,
and
yep,
I mean, let's just face it, he's a first ballot Hall of Fame defensive
yeah,
lineman.
yeah. But yeah, looking at this roster, it's pretty solid. I mean, we didn't even mention uh,
Mekeel Hardeman.
Joe Mixon,
Oh, that's right. He acquired him in a trade from
right? He's a
Nick.
potential top five running
I mean, he
back.
gave up Geist to get Mixon. I mean, obviously, he gave up Galladay also, but I mean, that's a
No,
huge
no, great
upgrade.
move.
Huge,
Absolutely.
huge upgrade.
Clearly, his he's got a few picks in the first
He's
round
got
too.
3 in the first round,
He's
including the
clearly going
7th.
to be focusing on kicker first. That's a that's a glaring need. No, he's another one that's going to go running
So,
back, running back.
so he's got 7, 10, and 13. So you're probably saying what? Go kicker 7, team defense 10,
Backup kicker.
backup kicker 13. I don't
You
know.
got to
I
cover. You can never
I
be
don't
too
know.
safe.
He might want to go tight end at 13.
Right, right. You're right. You need depth behind Darren Waller. Uh,
But
but that's where I said running backs are going to be flying off the board in the
yeah.
first round because guy's been screaming for a running back
Hmm.
probably since he watched his guy go down on TV last year.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Lamar Miller is available, guy.
Pick him up.
So remember, he's available there for you. He should be at 7, 10, and 13. You have 3 options to get Lamar Miller. All right, so now we go to Jordan, who's probably one of the most turned around teams in our league. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, from a good standpoint by that. So we got wow, this is another tough route. I mean, I think this might be your toughest competition in your division. At
I'm
quarterback,
not worried.
you got. Well, I mean, obviously he's got his main guy for every game, and he's got his backup. So he's got Tom Brady and he's got Gardner Minshew.
Yes.
So you're gonna play Brady every game except for his bye week. Now running back going into this, but he's had some injuries. So he's got Raheem Mossert, who they're pretty high on in San
Oh
Francisco.
yeah.
He's got Sony Michelle, which is a good thing and a bad thing because he just got hurt. Um,
And he really just hasn't produced a whole lot, to be
but
completely frank.
but maybe with Brady being gone, maybe that once he gets back on the field, maybe that'll change.
Maybe.
He acquired in a trade Rob Gronkowski for me,
Yep.
obviously to go with Tom Brady.
Yep.
And then here he is. I mean, here's another strong receiving core. Brandon Cooks, Christian Kirk, Sammy Watkins, Jarvis Landry. He's got guys that can run down the field. He's got guys that can go across the middle.
And Mike
Oh,
Evans.
and Mike Evans. Duh, sorry,
So
I forgot.
you're hooking up Brady. You're stacking Brady and Evans,
Hmm.
right? So potential, a lot of potential there. Um, look, Sammy Watkins shouldn't be in the league. Uh, I don't know what else you had to pick up from Jordan, but other than week one of last year, that guy, I don't think he cracked the top 60 all year at his position.
But maybe the what you saw in the Super Bowl might be help him. Maybe they'll
Uh,
make them look at him differently now, and
he
that could
took
be a Mahomes thing. Maybe Mahomes doesn't connect with him well or something. Maybe he would rather go to obviously he's got a connection with Tyreek
Tyreek
Hill.
Hill, right?
He
He got
likes
Nicole
Hardeman,
Hardman
that
coming in.
Marcus Robinson.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Um,
but that's the only wide receiver I question. I mean, Landry had a great year. I think he'll have another great year. We just talked about Mike Evans, who's always a top 10 guy. Cooks is up and down, but he should have lots of opportunity. And then, Christian Kirk is the same thing I brought up earlier for Larry Fitzgerald. Having Nuke Hopkins there ought to open some stuff up for him.
the only plus to you with him, with Jordan's team, is Jordan doesn't have a first round pick and doesn't pick till pick 15 of the second, as I was checking out. So
Mm,
that helps you out because obviously, I mean, if he would have had a first round pick thrown in here, that would make that a pretty deadly
it
team.
would. It would, for
And
sure.
then we go to your best friend, who
Hey,
you've done a few trades with over the last couple of years,
we
Mark.
we have last couple years. There's really only one that mattered. So
I don't know. I think the Watson deal was pretty big.
it was. You're right. That's a fair point.
I'm not gonna lie to you. There was a lot of people surprised when that trade for Barkley happened.
I saw that, and
And there was a lot of people that were like, if they would have known
I
that
know
was an
that.
option, would have. Nick Ritz was the one that flat out said I would have given a better deal.
Yeah, yeah, and I went to him with a just what the heck, the worst they can do is say no
Well,
attitude, and
see, what I don't understand about the deal is, and you obviously don't know this, but um, when he had the first overall pick to draft him, I tried to acquire that pick.
Okay.
And I was told, and you didn't give this. That's why I understand why he did it. You didn't give what he was asking. He wanted me to get him Roethlisberger. He wanted Juju. He wanted Antonio Brown, who was still relevant at the time. I had to give him season tickets in a luxury box, and I had to get him a season parking pass. And that was the deal breaker for me.
Yeah.
Was the season parking pass. I told him that. I'm like, if you take the parking out of it, I'll do the deal. So
Those things are
that's why I
expensive.
didn't get Barkley. But that's what I was told. So I was really surprised. And then because you paired him with McCaffrey, that was an unbeatable running back
Unbelievable.
combination.
Unbelievable.
Um, but you talk about this, so you still, I mean, what you have to face, you still got McCaffrey, you still got obviously Deshaun Watson, you still got Tyreek Hill, you still got George Kittle, Will Fuller. Um,
Yeah.
those are the top end of his team, and then obviously Justin Simmons is a top five defensive back from a fantasy standpoint. Hunter Renfro could be a slot guy for the Raiders.
Yeah.
James Washington, I think, does have potential in Pittsburgh.
No doubt.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, Devin Bush is he's
No, he's got a lot of talent on here, and
yeah, Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson, if the right situation with Wentz happens, he can
uh,
still produce.
Deshaun Watson. Yep. And he's he's going to produce regardless. Deshaun Watson is too athletic to not, and they are going to find themselves in negative game scripts. That's
Hmm.
going to give him a lot of garbage time, I'm guessing.
Hmm.
Uh, which, hey, it all looks the same on the stat sheet, right? So it still gets you the points. Definitely very solid at wide receiver. He's obviously going running back with his first pick.
And he picks at it was your pick, so pick
Yeah,
14.
14 in the first round and
Um,
second.
oh
Also
yeah,
has a 9 pick in the second round, I think.
yeah, he's definitely targeting running back. So next we'll do we're gonna go through and do a mock draft here.
Beautiful.
You're not gonna. Do you need a break anything before we get rolling? Or are you good to go?
I'm good if you are.
All right. So everyone, these are our mock drafts of your teams. And what I will do is I will call off the pick, and then what we'll do is we'll actually both, except for your own pick. You don't
Right,
pick for yourself. So
right.
obviously there's gonna be four times in this I won't be calling my pick out.
Yep.
Um, because I'd probably give a false pick of what I'd want. So um,
A
all right.
kicker.
So um, pick number one overall is me. Who do
So
I pick?
so I'm approaching this mock draft. This is what I'm doing if I'm in your situation, not what I think you're going to do. But there is no doubt if I have the number one overall pick, I'm taking Clyde Edwards-Helaire, running back, Kansas City. Like
Can't
we said,
complain.
I'm sorry.
Can't complain if that's who you take.
Yeah, yeah. That's I have no doubts about that.
But you're not me, so
I'm
who would
not
I
you.
take?
Like I said, not what you're gonna do, just what I would do.
All right, so now we'll both now from here out. So we got Jimmy at so the way we'll do this, we'll look at so you can't say Hilaire because Hilaire's gone.
Yep,
In your mind, Hilaire's gone.
yep.
Um, so pick two overall, round one, Jimmy.
Yeah, if I'm him, I'm going with Jonathan Taylor.
Okay. Um, if Hilaire was gone, yes, I would go Taylor. I could also see him going because he is a Lions fan. I could see Swift as an option here too.
Okay.
All right, pick three is me.
Right. So you're going back to the well at running back, and like I said, CEH and Jonathan Taylor are gone. Uh, and this is tough for me between Akers and Dobbins. Uh, I do like the talent of Dobbins, and I like the opportunity. I also like the opportunity of Akers, but not quite as much. So I'm probably going Dobbins here.
Okay. I can tell you that I wish Dobbins would have gone to the Rams.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I believe it.
I do. I really thought he was going to go to the Rams. Like when I don't know if you watched when I did the draft, the actual NFL draft stream.
Hmm.
And I remember kept saying, I'm like, he's going here. This is where he's going because that Gurley was already traded.
Yep.
I'm like this, and then they take Akers. I'm like,
Yeah.
really?
But you still got Darrell Henderson there from last year, and yeah, so that's a little murky too.
All right. So now we're back to Jimmy at four.
Yeah, and I think Jimmy's going running back again, so probably Cam Akers just because of the opportunity.
I'm going to say I'll say Swift here, I guess, because we kind of both agree to be Jonathan Taylor at 2. So I'll say Swift
Hmm.
here.
Hmm.
Gets his Lions fix, and pretty damn good running back. So now we got Nick at 5. I will say I'm gonna say. I mean, he does need a running back, but he needs a quarterback. He needs a. I guess receiver isn't a priority. I'm gonna say Akers. Akers goes here. Akers goes at 5 to Ritz.
Yeah, and for me, the top four running backs are off the board already: CEH, Taylor, Akers, and Dobbins. And I don't like messing with
Mm.
Detroit's backfield. So I'm probably jumping down to Zach Moss for
Okay.
Buffalo.
Well, if you're jumping that, would he go receiver then?
What's that?
Would he go receiver? I mean, do you want to go if you're picking 5 overall? Do you really want the 10th overall running back, or do you
I
want to get
I
the number
do
one
because
receiver?
I prize the running back position
Oh, that's
higher.
right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. All right. So now we got Ergang at 6. I am going to say he goes Jerry Judy here because that's obviously a very pressing need for him. He's got some banged up older receivers. So going with the number one overall wide receiver is not a bad option.
Yeah, I'm sticking with running back just because I know I won't get a solid one by the time it gets to my pick again, and that's DeAndre Swift at this point.
Okay. So next up we have Guy. Um,
Yep,
like we
guys,
said, Guy needs a running
running
back.
back. I mean, he's only got one, so I expect him to take running back with his first couple picks. Now it starts getting tough for me looking at who's left. You've got the guys on here that are backups. I'm probably going Duke Johnson.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna go running back for sure. I'm going to say Murray.
Yeah,
He's going to get someone that's going to get carries, definitely going to get some
he's
possibly
going to
some
get some
goal line
goal line work.
carries.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Latavius Murray. So now I'm at 8.
Yeah, so you've picked up a couple running backs at this point. So I'm thinking that you're going to switch gears and go quarterback with your third pick. So if I remember what quarterbacks you had here, it's Dwayne Haskins. Turn to my quarterback sheet
And Cousins.
and Kirk Cousins. That's right.
There happens to be a former Buckeye quarterback in this draft.
Is there?
Yeah.
Huh. That's uh that's not who I would be taking here if I were you. I'm going with Joe Burrow, no doubt.
Yeah, he was a Buckeye
Oh,
before he
oh,
was a
right.
Tiger.
Before he went to
I said a
LSU.
former Buckeye
You did
quarterback.
say former. Fair enough.
That's I wouldn't complain.
Yeah.
I would not complain. Um so next up we have now here's one thing that's funny, and I didn't realize this. I told this to you earlier,
Hmm.
and I discovered this last night that so Jimmy and I between us have 7 picks in the first 17,
Yeah, it's sick.
and every single one for whatever reason, and this was not intentional. This is completely by accident. I happen to fall in front of him every single time. So I picked at 8, so he picks at 9. So let's see, what we took 2 running backs for Jimmy. So now he's got to switch gear a little bit. So I'm thinking
Yeah.
receiver. So I am going to go with Ruggs.
Yeah, taking a look at what receivers he's got, um,
He's a Bama guy, so
you
I'm going
want
with
the
Ruggs.
you
I've already
want
picked Judy. You didn't pick Judy yet, so
correct. You want high floor here. Uh, yeah, I think it's got to be. It does have to be Judy
okay.
for me here.
So now we got 10. We got Guy. We already had him take.
A
Um,
running back,
yeah, we both had him take a running back, if I remember.
and this is guy's second out of three picks in the
Yep.
first round. I've still got him going running back because I think he needs two, and if you're going to get him, you got to get him early. So here for me, it's probably AJ Dillon. I got a
Yeah.
couple other I'm debating against,
No,
but
I'll second that motion.
yeah.
I'll say AJ Dillon at 10 as well. So now we move on to Tony's first pick. Let's see. And I would say Tony probably needs a running back for sure, a young one, because he's got obviously Todd Gurley.
Right, and Jordan Howard.
Mm,
Yeah, if you're going to go for young, I mean, there's a lot of veterans on here. John Kelly.
he is a Charger fan.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what? We'll go with John Kelly. We'll go with John Kelly at number 11 here. So now we got Anthony. He's got options. So he could go
he
running
does.
back or he could go receiver here. But he's adding depth. He's not adding like a immediate need.
Agreed.
So
Uh,
I am gonna say he's gonna go running back as well.
that's what I would do.
And I think he's gonna go because you know what? He's got his 5. He's going Peterson.
Okay.
Get a guy that's gonna start. He doesn't have to worry about keeping him for next year.
He's going to get opportunities.
Yep.
I'm probably going with Carlos Hyde here.
Okay.
A run first offense,
hmm
proven. Yep.
So now we're back to Guy, who we both gave a running back at 7, and we gave a running back at 10.
Right. So
So
that
now we're
gives
not going. We're probably going. Well, he's only got one quarterback though. You know
he
what? I'm
does.
saying Cam Newton.
Yeah, I agree with you because him and Burrow are the two
Yeah.
best on the
Oh,
board
absolutely.
easily.
I mean, this would be 13. That's too high for Carr because there's
Yes,
a lot of unfortunately there is risk with Carr.
a lot of risk.
So either he's going to play the whole year and perform, or he's going to play part of the year and it's going to be Mariota's show.
Exactly.
So now we're to which would have been your pick, but it's now Mark's pick
Right.
at 14.
And Mark desperately needs a running back.
He might have given one up. I'm not sure. Um, you know what? He's a Pittsburgh fan. Yeah, but that's a crowded backfield. Let's go Gibson. Nope. Nope. You know what? I just realized because you took him. I didn't. I'll give him Duke Johnson.
Yeah, and I was thinking Adrian Peterson.
You
You
took Duke
already,
Johnson. I
I did.
forgot.
Yep.
I guess we should have been writing these down.
Yeah.
So now we go
Live
to
and learn.
Anthony at 15, and we already established that he needed a running back. So I think he could still possibly use a running back here, or he could go receiver.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, this is Anthony. I'm sorry, I skipped ahead. This is Anthony. So Anthony, we gave him a running back in the last pick. So I'm actually going to go receiver here,
Yeah, for sure.
and he has Garoppolo, so I'm going to go Brandon Ayuk.
Yep. I agree. Get that stack.
And now we fall to 16, which originally was Tony, but I acquired the other day. So this is my pick. So you get to go for me.
All right. So this is where it starts getting a little tougher, right? So we've filled out your running backs. We filled out your court or rounded out your quarterbacks. So we're adding depth here. Uh, and it's got to be receiver. You got 3 receivers right now. That's how many we've got to start. So you're looking to add depth. And for me, uh, it's between. I'm not even gonna say that. I was gonna say it's between Rager and Lamb, but I will throw Anthony Miller in there too.
Established veteran.
Yeah, it is a veteran, but I'm gonna go with the one that I think has the best quarterback in CD Lamb.
Okay. But the
Best
most crowded
offense.
situation, though, too.
It is. It is.
All right, so that's our first round.
Round one
Now we'll do the second round.
in the books.
I don't know, maybe doing 3 not writing these down might be tough.
That might be.
We'll just do a second round. We'll do the second round and call it good. All right, so we got Jimmy up first, and we've already given Jimmy, I've given Jimmy a receiver and 2 running backs. So he's got 2 quarterbacks. He doesn't really need a running back actually at this point.
Agreed.
So I'm going to give him CD Lamb.
Yeah, and since I already gave up CD Lamb, I'm giving him Jalen Rager.
Okay. So now we're to Ross. This is Ross's first pick. A
Oh, I
team that
feel your
doesn't have too
pain,
many
Ross.
holes.
Yeah, Ross had a real solid team, so we're already into depth pieces here.
I'm thinking running back though.
Okay.
Um, I didn't take him, so I'm gonna give him Hyde because he's got Carson.
Yep. Yep. I agree with you.
You gave Hyde away though, so
I
you got to
did.
pick someone else.
I did, and at this point,
This sends out faster than I thought.
yeah, at this point, this is tough. It is probably. I'm probably taking a shot on Jerick McKinnon.
Okay. Now we have Christina.
Oh my
So
goodness.
I'm gonna look at what's probably the best keeper option here that hasn't been drafted yet. She has Carson Wentz,
Hmm.
so I'm gonna take Rugar, the receiver from Philly.
Okay. Okay. Get the stack. All right. And yeah, she definitely needs a receiver. Could have kept another one if you hadn't kept the kicker. But what are you going to do? It's Anthony Miller for me.
Okay. No, you already. I drafted him. You drafted him for me, didn't you?
No, no, no. I said CeeDee Lamb for you.
Oh, that's right. That's
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So now we got Ray at 4. Again, another solid team. So I got two mindsets here. Either go rookie running back. I'm going running back here.
Yes.
Either
Agreed.
rookie, or do I go with backup to someone he's already got? So I'm going to go rookie, and I'm going to give him Lamichael Pirine.
Well, sitting on Lindsey and Chubb, those are too solid.
But I was thinking about Royce Freeman as well.
Yeah, we're getting awfully thin at running back. You know what? I might go with Naeem Hines here.
Huh?
I think he's still going to have plenty of work in the
Oh yeah,
passing game.
he'll be the third down guy for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. Now we're back to Jimmy.
So Jimmy's just building more and more depth.
I think this is a receiver spot. I'm going to go Jefferson. Justin Jefferson out of Minnesota.
Yeah. Yeah, I was debating between a receiver and a tight end, uh, but it's too early for tight ends.
Let's see. Now we
I would
got
stick with Jefferson.
tight end. I don't see a tight end moving until maybe the end of round 2.
Yeah.
We got Tony at pick 6. I'm thinking receiver is stronger right now than running back.
Well, that's just it. Yeah, the value at running back has been
He's
pretty well
looking.
depleted.
He needs to get his keepers.
He does.
So I'm gonna go with T. Higgins.
And I'm going to jump down a touch here and pick up Michael Pittman. So didn't jump down quite as
Actually,
far as
no.
you.
Pittman's higher up
That's why
than.
I said I didn't jump down quite as far as you, but there were a few names still with that.
Well, I mean, I thought rookie would have to almost be the pick. I mean, out of
Right.
the established guys or the veterans, there's no
Nobody's blowing your hair back.
right.
Yeah.
So now we got Dennis at 7. I'm thinking. Let me look at Dennis's team again.
Yeah, I got to take a quick look too. I think I'm I think I'm going receiver here. I think I'm adding depth at receiver still.
Okay.
I mean Godwin and Cooper. So those are going to be keepers. Yeah, so I don't know that you're necessarily looking for a keeper.
I'm going running back. I'm going Justin Jackson.
Okay,
I think he's gonna. I
interesting.
think he's gonna jump ahead of Kelly and be Eckler's backup, and he'll see more production.
And I'm taking Sterling Shepard.
Okay. Oh, and he's definitely get a lot of production in New York.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Um,
think that'd be a nice.
so now we got Nick Ergang again. I think the last time I took him, I drafted him Judy. You took him a running back, if I remember.
Yep, I sure did.
So I think we're gonna we might be flip flopping on this one.
We might be. Pretty sure.
All right, I'm between two players. I'm between running back Anthony McFarland and wide receiver. I'm actually thinking wide receiver here. Um, Van Jefferson. I'm going Van Jefferson. I'll go the receiver.
And I think I'm going with Preston Williams
Okay.
in Miami.
He did do well last year, and
Yeah, until
maybe
he
if
got
Tua
injured.
gets in there, who knows what might happen.
Hmm.
So now we're at 9 with Mark,
All right, back to my division.
and if I remember correctly,
Where's that kicker list? Wait. Oh, yeah. So pretty sure we both took a running back for him. He only had Christian McCaffrey, and
I'm going Austin Hooper
you gonna
because
jump
he's
to
got
tight end, huh?
Kittles. Now he's got Kittles obviously, but
Yep.
Kittles did get hurt, like I said earlier. So I think he's going with the number one tight end available here.
Yeah, and I'm I'm adding depth at running back if I'm him. I haven't picked up Justin Jackson for anyone yet here,
Nope.
so that's where I'm going.
All right, so now we're to Guy at 10. Let's see. My God, what haven't we? We've drafted him a quarterback. We've drafted him a
And
running
two running
back.
backs.
So I think it's receiver,
Yeah, that's where you're going to get your most value here.
and I am going to go. I'm going to go with Chase Claypool.
Interesting. So receivers.
Nope, I take that back. I take that back. Let me take that pick back. I'm going to go with
No takesies backsies.
well, in these weekend.
Oh,
Isn't the real thing.
oh.
I'm going to go with Chanute from Jacksonville.
And I'm going with Cole Beasley here.
Okay.
Possession guy in a PPR league.
Now we got Rich. This will be Rich's first pick. Look at his team again real quickly.
Yeah, and poor Rich really needs a running back in my opinion. I mean, he's got three, but you got a backup in Benny Snell, and David Johnson has a lot of question marks around him. Wide receivers are pretty solid, so running back's going to be thin pickings at this point. Probably more
I'm going to go tight
options.
end here also.
Are you?
Yep, I'm
Okay.
going to go Jack Doyle.
Actually, yeah, I get where you're going with that, with the
He has
value.
no tight end.
Yep.
Jack Doyle's going to get production in Indy with Rivers. I'm going Jack Doyle.
Yep. For me, there's still a lot of tight ends left. I got to get some kind of running back that might have some value. It's probably, I haven't taken Latavius Murray yet. It's probably Latavius Murray.
Okay. So now we got Tony at 12. Um, again, excuse me. Trying to think younger here. I'm going to pick Anoy Benjamin, the backup to Drake at running
Okay.
back.
Okay. And here I might be going tight end if I were him. And this is tough. There's actually several of them that I like, but I'm thinking Jonnu Smith in Tennessee.
Okay.
You guys are writing all these down, right? Our draft will be half over already. Who's
Let's
next?
see.
So that was the 12 pick in the second round.
Yeah, we're at 13.
13.
I'm going to go Damian Harris at running back because he's going to get production with Michelle going down.
True. His running backs got solid. He just needs depth. I think I'm going with Antonio Gibson here. So he's going to replace Old Man Peterson at some point.
Um, so now we got Mark. Got like something in my throat here. Excuse me.
All right.
Mark. What do you need?
Marky Mark.
What funky bunch
He
member do you
has a
want?
funky bunch. All right.
Did I redraft him a quarterback? I
I don't.
did. I gave him Cam, didn't I?
You did. That's right.
Or no, did I give Guy Cam?
I was going to say, because quarterback is what I was thinking for him.
All right.
So if I'm taking a quarterback here,
I'm going Tua.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good call.
All right. So now we're at Jordan. Jordan's first pick.
Jordan's first pick.
And because Michelle's hurt, I'm going running back.
Yes.
With what's left, you know what? I'm going to drop way down here on the running back chart, but he is a rookie and was high at one point. I'm going Keyshawn Vaughn,
Okay.
the
No, I like
rookie
that.
out of Tampa.
I like that pick. Tampa's backfield's a bit of a mess, but that gives him opportunity then. So yeah, that's probably better than anything else I'm seeing here. I'll take Keyshawn Vaughn as well.
And then our last pick we're going to do is Ross.
Mr. Irrelevant.
Well,
Not you, Ross. Just
and nor is the 16th pick of the second round
not at
Mr.
the second
Irrelevant,
round,
but
just the
in this
last
draft that
pick.
we're doing right here,
Right,
right
right,
now,
right.
it is. Let's see. Okay, I'm between receiver and tight end, and the reason tight end is because of Kelsey's health. But I think I'm going to go receiver.
That's definitely where I'm going. I don't believe I have drafted Van Jefferson yet. You did, but I did not. Number 3
You know
receiver
what? He's got his
expected.
keepers. He doesn't need a keeper. I'm going Fitzgerald.
Okay,
He doesn't need a keeper.
fair.
He's got 5 keepers already for
Yeah,
next year,
he sure
so
does. At
he's
least.
got someone that's going to get production for him.
I mean, you got 3 receivers and a tight end that are no-brainers.
Um, I know I talked about us maybe doing a look ahead to next year, but really, how can we? I mean, it was more of going to be a look at the rookies, but I think it's everyone wants Trevor Lawrence. That's the big one, the
Yeah,
quarterback out of Clemson. Justin Fields, another one from the Ohio State University. That could be a possibility, but with the whole no season or how this is going to work, I don't
right.
know.
Push it off to the spring, and that's going to be questionable still.
Running back class for rookies next year, as of right now, is considered very, very weak.
You're right.
Um,
So, which I suspect then we're only doing 5 keepers. People are going to be heavy on keeping the running backs.
Yeah, heavy keeping the running backs, but not only that, it's going to be heavy on probably a lot of veterans going early
Yeah,
as compared to rookies, where normally rookies, like we said, in these 32 picks we just did, what, more than half were probably a rookie.
yeah, there was a lot.
Um, this actually went a little bit longer than I originally thought it was going to, but it's been fun. I can tell you that. I've enjoyed it.
No, it's a good time. So, and they've all well, you and they all have your picks done for 2 rounds now. We can skip right to the 3rd round when we come in on draft day.
Right, let's see. You know what? There was one more pick I wanted to address, and we'll just, even though we'll,
Oh boy.
let's see. So, where'd my little sheet go? Where's the where did I put the draft order? Oh, here it is. Okay, I want to talk about round 3, pick 7, and
Because that'll be my first pick.
um, I am going to go kicker
Who's last on the list?
Rodrigo Blankenship from Indianapolis, going in the 3rd round. Pick. I just wanted to say that name actually. Rodrigo.
There you go.
Tried to roll the R. Blankenship. Because this guy loves himself a good kicker.
There's nothing better.
And then, well, you have 2 in the 3rd, don't you, or no?
I do.
So then you're going to go right with your second probably kicker. You're just going to nail it right, get the kicker out of the way
Depth is
completely.
important.
And you're thinking this guy, you're probably going what, Vinatieri, thinking he'll get catch on somewhere.
Adam Vinatieri?
Yeah,
Well,
he's currently a free agent in the NFL, but
one of the best of all time. So I don't have Grammatica on here somewhere?
oh, you know what? No, you're gonna go Chase McLaughlin. You're just gonna lock up the Colts
Chase
kicking game
McLaughlin.
because they haven't figured out who their kicker apparently is yet. So
Perfect.
you got Chase and Rodrigo.
Perfect. That works for me.
All right. Any last final thoughts? I tell you this, I'm looking forward to next. Oh, you know what? I can go this. We'll talk about how next Saturday is actually going to work. So next Saturday, everyone's welcome to come. I'm going to say anytime after 3:30. We're going to have the pulled pork here. There, of course, there'll be buns, various barbecue sauces. Although I've had some people say that it's actually better without the barbecue sauce, or it's good enough to not even
Oh
put the
yeah.
barbecue sauce on. Tony does a really good job with that. We'll have coleslaw, potato salad, possibility of Sandy's famous, world famous mac and cheese. Um, and there's always some other little snacks thrown in. I make a draft punch in case no one has something to drink. It's obviously bring your own beverage otherwise. Um, so that's the food. And there'll be a dessert if it's cookies or cupcakes or whatever. Um, and then at 4 o'clock, I'm going to do the red carpet stream like I did for the meeting. So when everyone shows up, we're in. It's always been in the past where I was greeting people as they came in. I'm going to be on this doing this, and I'm going to try to hopefully get people. Hopefully, people will be more willing to come up this year and chat with me. Last year it was basically just two of us. It was I had Jimmy and then I had Mark. So hopefully people come up, or we can even I can turn the camera and have them talk why they come up. They don't have to actually come up to where I'm sitting. And we're just going to do similar to what we're doing right now. Look at the possible draft, get people's thoughts on what they might do, which I'm sure they're not going to give too much away what they're going to do or looking at. But
Yeah, yeah. It's a good thing we stopped before the third round. I don't want to tip my hand too much.
wow, we already did kicker.
So,
You're looking at kicker. Um, oh, you know what? I'm surprised for my first pick. What you should have gone with the. I know what you should have gone. You should have gone right there for my first overall pick.
if I had a chance of pronouncing that, I might.
We're talking the corner from Miami, Noah
I.
Igbinoking.
Noah I.
I think I probably need to apologize just for how I murder his name. But so then at 4 to 5:30, which I'm sure I'll go over because I did last year, but hopefully I'm gunning for 5:30 to end the stream, the red carpet stream, and then give me a half hour break, and then at 6 o'clock is when we're gonna fire up the actual draft process. Which that of course the first half hour is we kind of go over the process real quickly. There's a couple video presentations. The Hall of Fame, of course, class is announced. Um, and the big thing also in this is we're gonna have there's at least three people are gonna be online watching the stream. That's how they're drafting. So we got to make sure that they're getting this. Which I know I got a thing from Anthony, so I know he's gonna make sure he's online. Jordan, I think, has seen the stream before. I think Jordan was part of the basketball stream. He watched that, so I know he's got. And then the only other person is oh, Rich. Rich is the only one I'm not sure if he's part of the stream. And Nick Ritz, isn't sure if he's 50-50 if he's going to be here or not be here. So if he's not here, he will watch the stream. But
I'll
his is work related, so
I'll volunteer to help out and pick for anybody that's not
okay.
able
So
to pick for
and
themselves.
just remember, he's got you locked at kicker. I mean, you're going to have the solid kicking game. So so that's that. Like I said, draft packets you'll get. I've kind of said this before. You'll get your you're going to have your what you drafted last year, so you can look that over. You'll have a draft guide, a draft order, the bye week. Obviously, you
Yep.
guys don't see this, but
Yep.
he got to see it. So how well this shows up? Nah, it doesn't show up at all. So on the list, it'll show what they're ranked at, each position, how they're ranked, their name, the team they play for, and then there's a number behind it. And the number is the bye week. I added that this year. And then there's other stuff I got thrown in. There's a contact list and other kinds of just probably useless information. But um, it's been a fun stream.
It was
Enjoyed
good.
having you here.
Yeah, appreciate it.
So, like I said, and we'll talk about the stream in the draft, in the pre-draft as well. Um, it's always an open invite. He reached out to me, said, "Hey, I want to do one with you." Great, we're gonna make it happen. So we did. So that being said, we're gonna see you next week here, anytime after 3:30. Draft starts at 6. We're picking by 6:30. Um, the 20-second timer, of course, will take place again. And I thought about this. That the nice thing that'll also help those that are drafting online. There's about 20 second. They're 20 seconds behind us.
Okay.
So there, that might help slow it down a little bit
Yep.
too.
Yep.
I just don't want to. We've had before where, and Christina was the one that did it. I think she picked Jabril Peppers twice
Mm.
one year.
So his points counted double.
She didn't even have him. He was already belonging to someone else. So, but that being said, we're gonna end the stream right here. Thank you all for watching it, and we'll see you here at the draft next Saturday.
Go blue.
OH.